How we doing? Happy Monday and happy holidays here. It's almost Christmas Eve tomorrow. We're a little festive. We're a little dressed up in here, but we're here for one more show before the big day for a lot of reasons. But happy holidays to you and your family. And the Ryan Ripken Show, we have a lot to get into in a short amount of time. But let's see. Ravens had a pretty big game on Saturday. We're going to have Kadri Ismail joining us here in the next 5 to 6 minutes. And then we'll get into some baseball conversations because I'll tell you what, I think the MLB Hot Stove is doing some last-minute holiday shopping. I know that sounds really corny as hell, but it's true. In the middle of the night, it just feels like there's a panic. We'll cover all that and the question about, especially for Orioles fans, when are they going to dive into this kind of Christmas present situation? Yeah. Teams feel like they're getting gifts left and right. Nick Moore's going to join us at 4 p.m. Eastern time to talk a little bit about what happened this past week. And of course, it's not easy, or it's not very challenging, I guess I should say, to get Nick fired up about college football. And apparently he's the top smack talking long snapper in the NFL. That is what we found out. So you're going to have to hear more from Nick at the top of the hour. And then if we have time, we'll do our call-ins and we'll talk about some of our favorite holiday traditions. But behind making it all happen today, Mr. Brad, how are we doing?
What's up, bro? Yeah, Saturday was a great game, and I can't wait for Nick to talk about the whole shit talking thing.
Oh yeah,
I'm
it was
super pumped about
fantastic how it all went down.
Speaking of fantastic, I fall on the holiday, wear solid sweater for you, my man, and then I'm so happy he brought this back.
It's back.
Zach brought back
We got
Christmas suit.
The looks you get walking downtown in this are a little. You definitely get the what is that? Like, where is he going? I'd already decided if anyone was like, "Where are you off to?" I was just going to say job interview, just to like really throw him off. Like, oh, is he trusting that with his job interview? So yeah, and for those wondering, I do have the pants as well. This is full body, so
hell yeah.
It used to light up. So it used to light up. It no longer does that, but the whole jacket.
The battery dead or something? Or?
Yeah, well, the battery no longer exists.
And the jacket's green inside too, so it's really
we got the full.
There it is.
That's so good.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
I need to get me one.
These are actually like I bought this for a college informal like Christmas party. It was like $55. Like it's very thin, cheap material, but it's for $55. I've worn this like 7 times, so definitely worth it.
We need to get you like a hat with it.
Yeah, I know.
We need like a Christmas.
My brother has one of these, but it's just all blue and like snowflakes. So
that's electric.
Yeah.
I got about 6 or 7 holiday hats, and I was trying to find them today. I guess they're at my mom's, but literally 6 or 7 different ones.
That's not surprising.
You pick and choose what you want.
You guys have so much shit.
We do, but we would wear different hats when we were decorating the tree growing up.
Yeah.
And then it was just my mom and I doing it at times. And every time that my mom and I set the tree up, the damn thing fell over. I don't know whose fault that is. I will take no blame.
Real tree or fake tree when you were a kid?
Well, combo. One that we decorated together. Real tree.
Okay.
But then like around the house, like decoration, fake tree.
So what was the real Christmas tree shopping like in the Ripken family? Did you all just go out to the tree farm, do it yourselves? Did you pay somebody?
Well, it's great. No, so Misty Valley, right out in Hunt Valley, that's right down the road from where we used to live.
Yeah.
They had then just the Christmas trees right there. So
like they were already cut for you, or
yeah, you just go and pick the tree.
Okay.
Like, oh yeah, hey, we're gonna take that tree. And we'd have someone help come set it up because that's where there was problems. But for some reason, when it was set up and it was set up perfectly fine, then to the point where we're going to decorate this puppy, something goes wrong. And I shit you not, Brad, it was leaning over and I see the little Grinch right here. You guys know in the animated where the Grinch is trying to hold back the presents. That's how I felt with the tree. I feel like I am holding this thing up.
Yeah.
And we got all these bulbs flying off.
Yeah.
But you know what? I digress.
So I'm the oldest of 6 kids. The youngest is 18 years younger than me. And Christmas tree shop. We did real Christmas trees all the way up to like, I don't know, maybe my mid-20s. And my mom was like, I'm over it. Mm-hmm. But taking us all out to do real Christmas tree shopping and like My stepdad would be out there hacking away, and then when I got old enough, we were hacking away, and it was an ordeal with all of us. I will say though, because there were so many of us, my mom would she was super picky about which tree she had to be perfect tree, no holes, no dead spots, no nothing. She had to check it for all them bugs and shit. She would place us at trees that she thought were contenders, and then go off and find another tree. So we would just sit there.
Oh, no,
and
that's
then
smart,
Yeah, we were just placeholders for trees.
Sometimes it's like
so somebody wouldn't take it if she actually wanted.
Did anyone ever come up to you and was like, "Excuse me, are you?" Oh no, sorry. This is my tree.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
no,
I should preface this by saying we were still within view. My mom wasn't neglectful, but she definitely placed us in spots that she was like, I like this one. You wait here and I'll be back. I'm
I respect that.
All right, so Brad's mom wandered away miles
like,
down the road.
Yeah. It's like agents in discussions with free agents. Sometimes you just gotta let the other teams know, hey, this guy's in talks. This isn't just a free agent out there. This guy's in talks.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hey, speaking of being in the festive spirit, I didn't know if he was behind the scenes, but apparently he is. We can bring on everyone's favorite.
Well, I got to move the camera.
Well, no, I was going to say with the guy that's
behind.
not with Kevin.
Oh,
Kevin's here though.
Kevin's here though, by the way. Kevin, there you go. Kevin, get settled.
Nice of you to join us.
And Rocco. Boo!
Fuck that guy.
Boo!
Boo that man.
And Rocco, you're muted.
Yeah, and unmute that man.
It's a rough weekend, and here we are. I didn't want to show my face on the stream, but I guess I had to. So
I mean, you didn't have to.
Yeah, I know.
You just texted us saying you were going to show up.
No, I didn't.
Well,
Didn't do that. That was I was forced to do this. My burner. How are we? How's everyone?
Oh, we're doing well. We're just getting situated. Q's going to join us in a little bit. We can recap how great the game was. Steelers offense was rolling on all cylinders. Yeah. And you know what? The Chiefs
Dangerous.
And the Chiefs are playing for a lot on Christmas Day, which is even better. So just saying, it was a good day.
Also,
it's a good day.
It was good meeting your pops there, Rocco. It's good to know that he also busts your balls as much as we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. DeSangro.
Yeah.
Steve, Mr. DeSangro. There's a big difference between Steve and Rocco. I'm just not going to say, as far as, likability,
he's
honor,
he's taller,
integrity, height.
No, he's not. That's all right. That's where I draw the line, Brad. He's absolutely not taller than me. He had on 1-inch Timberland boots, and he got the height advantage there. So we stand back to back, absolutely no shot.
Not shorter.
Yeah, anyway. There's a lot of people that are happy to see you though. But it was a fun weekend overall. And the boys we got out to the lots to make sure it was safe.
Yeah,
it was cold.
Very cool.
But we got a chance. We had our Deep Eddy cocktails to start off the day, which were phenomenal. It was the cranberry, getting us in the festive spirit. Then we took gridiron golf down to the lots. Sorry, Zach.
There was a rock under the mat. Okay.
There was that.
So was the rock there when I was there? When I putted?
And that was, and honestly, I think it needs to be investigated. I'm just going to say it.
You know what? Good teams find a way. Bad teams find a way to lose.
It was the Steelers' devil magic was, present during our gridiron golf game, and that's all I'm going to say.
I'm just going to own my shit because Parker kicked my ass.
Yeah, that was.
Although I feel like
that was the first round of the college football playoff.
Yes,
right there.
That was SMU.
Just a whoop.
The SMU.
Although
game.
when Parker walked up, I quickly realized I was like, I do not want to get in a game with him because he will
kick your
anyone's ass.
It took him a little bit to get going, and then you know what? You could tell he
plays golf.
He plays a little bit.
Yeah, once he started reading
short game's good.
Yeah,
he was reading the greens on the concrete, and I was like, oh, this is a different level.
Yeah, then you're in for it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Rock? You do have one friend, and surprisingly, it's our buddies up at Adams Jeep. Chuck likes you. Maybe it's just for the holiday spirit.
Yeah,
that Chuck is being nice.
That's a shock right there.
That is a shock.
Thanks, Chuck. Love you, buddy. Doesn't mean he'll pause the promo, so it is what it is.
No chance.
No.
Well,
the promo lives.
You're a good kid. Is Kevin? Are you? Is the ear thing still not working?
Oh yeah, it's been weird.
Oh,
yeah.
You got to
trying to twist it around.
you got to jam it in there.
Probably
find the connection.
No, it's probably not going to work. It didn't work for Rocco yesterday.
One second. Let me go over there.
It's, you know what? We'll continue to work. Well,
Hold on, I got you.
well, then,
Good.
well, I was going to say we should, while you're getting that figured out here, and we're talking about what was great about this past weekend, we can have someone. Actually, for those at the game, they might have seen some trivia that popped up on the screen of somebody that, when we talked about it last show, most receiving yards in a Ravens-Steelers rivalry. And you know what? This person doesn't hold anything back. He said what needs to happen. And guess what? It happened, and there was some monumental moments in it. And I realized the camera's not even on me right now. It's on Kevin.
Oh, this is behind the scenes.
No, it's behind the
Yeah, it's behind the
scenes.
scenes.
I was about to bring on our guest at the
That's
same
why
time.
I've been nodding. I was, keeping the people busy.
You're keeping the people busy. Well, in this case, let's bring on our friend who breaks it down better than nobody. Former Super Bowl champion, former Baltimore Raven, and still holder of the most receiving yards in a Ravens-Steelers game, Mr. Kadri Ismail. Where's Q? There he is. Q. How we doing? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, gentlemen. Talk about perfect timing of a perfect gift. Ravens whooping up on the Steelers. All the Steeler Nation and all the junk talking my friends are saying, y'all can have it because we beat y'all. We whooped y'all asses.
And they needed it, Q. I mean, the boys needed it. I'll tell you what, though, they were showing, I'm pretty sure, throughout the game. I looked up and I saw that first touchdown where you got drilled right in the kidney. Then you kept going. And I'm like, you know what? That's what Ravens players do, Rock. So just take notes of that.
Yeah.
But now, hey, Q, they're in a good position. What was one thing? There's a couple things I want you to break down. But first thing, just take away from it. The glaring thing is that the Ravens were able to run the football. But is it fair to say this was probably one of the cleanest games overall, minus the one interception, which we'll get to? One of the best games they played all year.
I would say the word complete game in all three phases can be used. When you look at what the Ravens have done, usually it's the offense carrying the team. Special teams kind of been, just a big roller coaster the entire year. Defense have had its moments, but I thought all three phases, they put it together and really just did an amazing job of capturing the home crowd, the home energy, recognizing that the Steelers' way of beating you is you make mistakes. They keep the game close into the fourth quarter, and then that's where they turn it on, and somehow, some way, they make some great play, and now you're sitting there like, you're on the outside looking in of a loss. So, great job all the way around. I thought Todd Monken did an amazing job. I thought Zach Orr, you got to give him his flowers as far as how he used some of the key pieces on his defense to his advantage. All of that. I think it was great how this team went out there and performed on the bright lights of the grand stage that was Tom Brady and Fox broadcast.
Yeah, how about that? The primetime twinkle time game, I guess, right? It's not the full prime time where it's a Sunday night, but it's 4:30. It gets dark. All the light theatrics are going on at the stadium. What is that considered? It's a primetime game.
Prime evening game.
Hi, Kevin.
Yeah.
Hey,
you're back.
I
Can you hear Kevin?
I can hear now.
I can hear him. I can hear him loud and clear, crystal clear.
Crystal, there it is. Well, whatever it is, it was nice. But one moment, Q, that it's fun to look back at now because it didn't end up harming the Ravens, and it was that one communication specifically. And actually, if I pull it up here, I think Todd Monken's reaction to the interception. We're just we'll read his lips, or people can make their own interpretation here.
I'm sure Coach Monken is not happy.
We'll take it from the beginning. So there might have been a few curse words thrown in there. There might have been some.
Holy shit! What are you doing?
That's what. Well, I was letting our audience do that. You said it, not me. But
just in case you don't know how to read lips,
Q, that was almost the back-breaking play, because all the Ravens at that point needed to do was not turn the ball over. Luckily, we know what happens next. The pick six, everyone's feeling happy. But I actually have the play I'm going to pull up here. Do you mind breaking down like what went wrong there with the miscommunication?
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and roll it.
So
I think the main thing is you'll see Rashad Bateman over to the left of the screen, and he's running a shallow crossing route. I think what happens is his eyes are looking up to where there's a hole. Is it a man-to-man situation or is it a zone situation? I think he sees the defender, really where if he kept running, is going to be. So I think for Rashad, he's like, man, screw all that trying to get a hit. I'll just go ahead and sit down between the numbers and the hash. So then you see him getting ready to settle in. Lamar now all of a sudden takes the liberty of like, well, you're going to go closer to the numbers and I'm going to lead you towards that spot. And that's where he let it go because he was assuming that for that shallow crossing route, that it was going to be more of a man type beater. And so then that's where the miscommunication comes in because Rashad stops. He saw that space there as far as it being some sort of zone because of what he saw with the defenders. But Lamar was seeing it differently. And that's where Minka Fitzpatrick, who was coming down from the opposite side, he comes down in there and just credit him. I mean, he made a great play on the football, but that was clearly miscommunication between Lamar and Bate that I know that they will in future, times when that play is called, if Monken ever calls it again. Sometimes coordinators, they get skittish and like, nah, we have success with this one. We'll never see this play again. But it was a case and scenario where Lamar Jackson literally was thinking that his receiver was going to keep on going, and the receiver in Rashad Bateman was thinking that his quarterback was going to just have him sit down right there in the pocket or in the hole in the zone.
Based off of John Monken's reaction, Q, was this more of a missed assignment on Bateman's side, or is this more of like there's equal faults on both sides?
Yeah, obviously as a receiver, you're always going to be the person that they're going to look to blame, and there's not really much you can do about it. I think what he felt and trusted with his eyes and the way he saw it pre-snap, during the actual snap, and then as the play was unfolding, that he was doing the right thing. You could see where he's like, oh, okay, cool. You have a receiver about to go out into the flat in the M route. You got me coming on a shallow crosser. Why would I want to, get into that timing space? I'll just sit it down right here and Lamar can make a decision. But I think Lamar was already anticipating what it was going to be. And that's the tough part. When the quarterback already anticipates the throw, that's where the receiver gets into trouble, because the receiver's like, well, here are my rules. Here's what it is. I'm going to sit down, and yeah, it's going to be the receiver's fault.
Yeah, well, luckily, though, then Marlon has a great time to have.
Very next play.
Oh, my goodness. Whatever, was a
Yeah.
play or two later, and then that euphoric feelings in the stadium again, where it's all right. This, the haze in the barn, as we've heard it say on the radio, or just the first time you could hear like this huge sigh of relief in the stadium. Like, man, all right, Baltimore's going to put this away finally. Also, Ricard was just naked. He was just open, wide open.
He and Zay.
Holy shirts and pants, but
Pressure.
it's okay. Thank goodness.
Well,
To come back to harm right now, but Q, you're shaking your head. What you got?
no, here's the crazy thing about it. I was sitting there, I'm my vantage point in the new press box. It's literally where the tunnel where the guys are getting introduced to the fans. That's where my view of the plays and of the game come from. And it's a great view because I get to see things unfold.
Yeah.
So how I watch the game, and have been doing this for forever, there are times where I'll look at, a certain player, and usually it's an offensive or defensive lineman. I'll look at maybe the secondary as a whole, and very rarely do I look at the quarterback, because you kind of already know, what they're going to do. Well, in this particular case, I don't know why, but my eyes were on Patrick Ricard, and I was like, oh my God, we're about to score. yes, he's wide open. Nobody's around him. But then I was like, well, like all of a sudden I hear the audible noise of the Steeler crowd getting amped, and our crowd let out this big sigh. And I'm like, yes, what is that? What happened? What's going on here? What? Huh? What you? And then I'm looking over and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So it took me a minute because I was so like into the weeds of the details that I was like, wait a minute, what just happened here? And so it was surreal. But like I said, the complete game comes in the midst of chaos, and that was a chaotic moment. That was a moment that could have totally flipped the script. There were 3 moments I felt that totally could have flipped the script. That was one of them. But you also saw where Marlon Humphreys, as you just eloquently pointed out, in that next series when Pittsburgh has the ball, David Ojabo, all right, you stepped up, you showed out. Great job, David. Finally showing what's what. And it gave a great opportunity for Marlon to undercut the pass and go ahead, take it to the hizzy for the pick 6.
Yeah, and you know what? He was just trying to pitch it back to Ojabo the whole time. Obviously, he was just trying to give his teammates some props in that process there. Yeah, you know what? That's what he says. You got to take him for his word, right?
Look, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm just saying.
We'll let the NFL dictate what happens.
I don't know. I mean, if he gets fined, okay, that's on him. But I mean, David was in the vicinity.
Yeah.
So
they're all about giving the players the benefit of the doubt, right? Right. Well, we are at least. Hey, Q, because I know Zach and Kev got a couple questions for you. But are you training anybody during this holiday time?
Yeah, actually, I have some clients coming in tonight. I got clients coming in tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm going to actually be down at the WJZ studio. We got a pregame and postgame show. But then afterwards, Thursday, man, we're starting to right back on up. And Friday, hey, let's get it.
Man, you don't sleep, but don't quit. I mean, are you finding the next? Maybe we'll find the next great receiver training out of Missile Training, and check out missiletraining.com for more. There's that sign. It's bigger than Kevin, literally bigger than Kevin.
It really is. Look,
you know what? Kevin is a walking ad. But Q, it kind of leads into Zach's part here. We're talking about young receivers, or maybe trying to find it. That's been something for the longest time, right? Zach, is the Ravens feeling like they were hitting on some draft picks at wide receiver?
Yeah.
And then Zay Flowers getting over 1,000 this past week, kind of where you're going?
Yeah. And, even the big narrative in Baltimore recently has always been the lack of talent, especially homegrown talent at the wide receiver position. And it was even, they had kind of given up on Rashad Bateman. It felt like, at least fan base had. But they stuck with him. They give him the extension. Zay goes out, gets over 1,000 yards on Saturday. Bateman, another touchdown catch. Q, could you just kind of talk about the development of these two and what it means for a Lamar Jackson too? We always talk about Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews and the great tight end room, but he finally has a good quality young wide receiving core to work with.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how last year when OBJ was a part of the receiving core, I mean, they had their injuries, but one of the biggest takeaways was the veteran presence of him giving those guys some really strong information on how to be a pro. That, I think, carried over into the offseason where you saw Rashad Bateman, you saw how Zay Flowers, they both went about their business of getting better. And I think that's a direct result of what we've seen this entire season. I mean, they really have shown up and shown out. They've been consistent. They've shown how, they can be relied upon in big situations. Rashad Bateman, one of the biggest knocks that, people were talking about was his consistency as far as his health. He's been out there and playing. Heck, he was in the boot during the week, and all of a sudden he comes back on out there. He runs a route that really stresses whatever his foot element would have been, stresses, and then he was able to just do his thing. I think, 8 touchdowns on a year, leading the team. I think that's showing just his maturation process. We knew Zay Flowers from the time he got drafted was going to be penciled in as receiver 1. Part of that is the fact that you can be relied upon, and that benchmark, that easy benchmark, in my opinion, with today's rules, is 1,000 yards. So you got a 1,000-yard receiver. You got a receiver that has multiple touchdowns. Hopefully can get into double digits. That would be tremendous. But then you also look at the running game. You got well over 1,000-yard rusher. I think this Todd Monken year 2 offense, hey, giving it to Lamar, giving him more of ownership over it. I think this is the vision that they had, and it's going to continue to grow. But make no mistake about it, the receiving core, if you will, I think they feel that there's still room to grow and to get better.
Yeah, I completely agree. As much as it's been a breath of fresh
air. Unique
there is
New
still
York.
more. There is still more that they can do, and I think it is, especially with Zay and Rashad. I think they're just scraping the surface of just how good they can be.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Q, because I want to be conscious of your time. Any final thoughts for you on either around this time, what you're thinking moving forward, or things that we should know, what's going through Q's mind?
Yeah, the biggest thing, I think, you talk about the 3 games in 11 days. I'd be curious, because now Justice Hill with his concussion, how they're going to adjust Rasheen Ali. Okay, now you're going to have some pass protection duties. How are you going to be out of the backfield? Are we going to see Keaton Mitchell, or are they still going to do the conservative healing plan for him? I think special teams return situation with punt returns. I mean, good God, man, that's kind of been, a little nerve-wracking, how they're going to clean that up. I think John Harbaugh and his staff, they've done an excellent job as far as Darius Washington and Kyle Hamilton on the defensive side of the ball, benching Trenton Simpson. That's been a plus, I think. At the same time, offensively, yeah, you've been grooving and everything. Can you stay the course? But how can you get better from that offensive line? We always want more. We want to demand more of ourselves, and I think that's what they're going to be looking forward to doing. But it's more mental now than it is physical, these 3 games in 11 days. How's your overall coaching staff / training staff going to help these men be able to recover and be able to perform at their best? That's the mindset heading down to Houston, and then obviously finish off the season with Cleveland.
Yeah, the biggest thing right now, we just said the most complete game, one of the most complete games that they've had, but it's not going to mean anything if you don't follow it up beating Houston on Christmas Day. And hopefully then Baltimore can keep doing what they can do, and maybe Kansas City can give the Ravens a Christmas present on the 25th. Baltimore would then move in front of the division and then have games, at least one home playoff game, be here right at the bank. Well, Q, where can everyone find what you're doing, at least again, one more time?
Yep. Missiletraining.com. Talk to me, interact with me over on missiletraining.com. Holla at your boy for all your sports performance and human performance needs.
Oh yeah, we're still getting ready. We're getting Kevin ready for the Ravens conditioning test with
I'm
Q.
so ready.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, he will die. He will die.
I can't wait. Well, hey, Q, appreciate you, man. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, indeed. Blessings to everyone.
Thanks, Q.
Thank you, Q.
Let's do. Okay, man.
He's the man. I appreciate him, and good question too, Brad, on the follow-up with the Bateman and Lamar, because it makes sense. Zone read versus thinking, it's a man beater. Bateman's looking to sit down. Lamar obviously didn't think that. And man, shirts and pants. I'm just glad that it felt like, Kevin, that was the voodoo magic right there. Like that, the Ravens are going to have that moment. Here it is. Pittsburgh once again is going to pull one out of their ass and win this. Was one's thoughts for maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it happened. I know, Kev, you wanted to touch on something. I know we're running short on time, but your little thoughts at least on some things you wanted to cover from this game.
Yeah, I mean, the big one to me is Q mentioned Darius Washington as players that really stepped up during the game. And I have a new saying. It's, if you give the Ravens a momentum play, it's going to be a bad rest of your day. This team feeds off of momentum so much, because you see Russell Wilson, you think he's going to walk into the end zone on that play, and Ardarius comes up, and Marlon said he didn't really think he had a great angle on it. And Ardarius comes up, kind of gets the ball out, flips Russell Wilson over. If he gets into the end zone, that's a 14-7 game. And I'm not saying Baltimore can't not win that game if that happens, but then Baltimore's the one that goes down the field and scores, and then they go up 14-7. And so I thought that the way that the Ravens and Q mentioned the points of they made decisions that were probably hard in the moment of, hey, we paid Marcus Williams $70 million, hasn't been playing well. Some teams would just kind of ride it out and say, well, we invested all this money. It's the sunken cost fallacy. Let's just go and play the guy, and then we'll get rid of him. The Ravens made the decision to bench Marcus Williams. You bring in a better player in that moment. You move Kyle Hamilton around. I mean, this defensive turnaround in the secondary has been incredible.
Marlon's having a career year too, by the way.
And this is his best year as far as impact plays, right?
Yeah.
Impact plays. And the one thing that the Ravens have been missing is that turnover, change the momentum of a game type of play. Last year, they were the best at doing that, and forcing turnovers. They're middle of the pack this year, but Rock,
Marlon's first pick six.
Marlon's first pick six.
I don't know if you guys saw the interaction between Ramey and Tony Jefferson, but Ramey talked about how 6 interceptions for Marlon is insane, and Tony Jefferson made a comment of it's even more insane when you think of that Marlon Humphrey has the worst hands you'll ever see. And he was like, I don't know. He said that they must have gone to the league commissioner and gotten extra XP to up his catching ability.
My big part of that conversation too was Marlon, I think after the game mentioned the point that he had no interception return yards this year. And he's like, man, I need to get get something here. Like, I don't know how many people in NFL history had as many interceptions as Marlon has and had no interception return yards.
Yeah.
So he got a few on that return. Just
a few, but it was enough. But Rock, before we move on, we get into some baseball. Talked about it on the pregame show, and I know, I'm sorry, buddy. It's okay. But we said the team that doesn't make the fundamental mistake or the play that changes everything in the past in these games against the Ravens and Steelers, it's been the Ravens, whether you can say it's missed field goals, penalties, costly turnovers. Pittsburgh was the one this game where the two significant turnovers really were the difference in a game. At 34-17 is the final. If those don't happen here, it's a way different story that we don't know which way it goes.
And they're both on Russell Wilson right there. I mean, hell of a play by Washington, like right at the goal line. Russell Wilson, I don't know what the hell he thought he was doing. I get wanting to, make that extra effort play, find your way into the end zone, but go down and hand it off, right off into the sunset. Like, it's not 2014 anymore. You are not that guy anymore, buddy. So he's played fantastic this year. What's that?
I was going to say real fast, not to
No,
obviously, yes, I believe it is on Russell Wilson, but I don't think he really saw Ardarius coming till the last second. Like, I think Russell,
all he saw was pay dirt and was like,
I genuinely, I don't think it's like, oh, Russ has to protect himself. Like, I think he was running was like, oh, easy touchdown. Because if you see they played like the ground level review, and it was nothing but end zone, and out of nowhere Darius just comes. So yes, I think Russ can't fumble there, but I'm not gonna say like, oh, he's got to protect himself. Like, I think he was as shocked as anyone when Ardarius hit him. He's like, what?
I mean, Zach, to your point, that's fair, but like, protect the damn ball and don't hold it like a loaf of bread. Like, you got to make sure that thing is protected and like hold on to it for dear life. Instead, like, he's got it tucked, but that can't happen in that situation at that point in the game, because again, like you guys said, momentum shifter. Same with the pick six was a nail in the coffin. But if the Steelers are able, and I know it's coulda, woulda, shoulda, but if they're able to score a touchdown there, we're talking about a whole different ball game and potentially a whole different outcome. I still think the Ravens win that game. They played great football, but again, could have gone down to the wire rather than it looking like a blowout at the end.
It had, for Ravens fans, the result was something that you felt should have happened many other times before. But it's been those plays that the Ravens have been the ones committing it. And if the pick six didn't happen, we don't know how that still would have finished out. It took a pick six to put the pressure off, and then the Ravens didn't look back.
Yeah.
But thankfully for Baltimore, they get the victory. And now Christmas is getting very stressful for Pittsburgh and Baltimore. No room for error for either team, really. Yes, Baltimore has to have Pittsburgh lose one of their last 2 games, but they have the tougher schedule. If Baltimore can beat Houston, you feel very good that they don't get swept by Cleveland at home. If that happens, a lot of people might go swan dive into the harbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's hope not for that case. But we will talk more football and hopefully with Nick Moore here at the top of the hour. So if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live Monday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time and on days when the Ravens play. We will not be doing a show on Christmas Day. We're going to let everyone enjoy their holiday. Are we going to stress out, though? You're damn right we are.
Rip,
yes.
you don't really piss me off about the game. Just sorry. I just want to drop this in there. It wasn't the outcome. It wasn't what happened. It was the fact that when Mark Andrews scored that touchdown, you got my dad to high five you. And that just really I've lost sleep over that. I've thought about that the last couple of days. I have a bone to pick with my dad on Christmas. I don't know if we're going to be sitting in the same room or watching the Steelers game together, but I can't believe it, man. It was heartbreaking to watch. It really was. What a piece of crap he is.
It was the greater good. It was the greater good. Your dad has great respect and honor, Rocco. Take a note here. So you can get on right now. You're on the Grinch's list. You need to get on Santa's list.
Rocco,
buddy.
I heard you cursed. You're the reason.
Yes, Rocco.
Yeah, we have video evidence of me rubbing the terrible towel on Zach's Justin Tucker jersey, and Justin Tucker turned into prime Justin Tucker during that game. So, I am what I am. I say it all the time, and the loss is probably my fault, but I own it. Didn't have to show my face on the stream. I'm gonna give myself some props here, and here we are. I'm facing the music today.
Stream to give himself props.
Yeah, this is a self-righteous thing.
I was wondering.
This had nothing to do with
you made my dad high five you. This is absolutely not. We're done here.
Well, I will say to Rocco that this is now a Nerds Gummy Clusters show. I am all for that, by the way.
Kevin, that's the hot seat. So you got to make sure you treat those Nerds gummies well and take care of business.
It's like you slam the credit card down on the table. You slam the Nerds Gummy Clusters down on the table.
Guys, this is great. Rocco, heel.
Okay,
Sit.
Sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. I'll put myself on mute.
Put yourself on mute. Go Chiefs this Christmas Day. But let's talk a little bit of baseball here as we get Nick Moore back in about 20 minutes and a time to go around Major League Baseball. Why don't we take a ride on our favorite Jeep? That's Adam's Jeep of Maryland. Beep, beep, I'm a Jeep, and Kevin's driving.
This is not bad for him.
That's like almost driving a bus.
Yeah, it's the wide. It's wide.
That's a very wide look. But our friends Adam's Jeep of Maryland up in Aberdeen, it's about 5 minutes away from the Ironbird Stadium. Some call it Ripken Stadium. Depends on what you think of it. It's also called Leidos Field at Ripken Stadium. Tomato. But Adam's Jeep of Maryland, and watch this, Zach. Whammy.
Wow.
Hey.
There it is, just like that.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well, but they've been our OG sponsors from the beginning. We have so much planned with them going into this baseball season. If you're in the market for a used car or a new car, go on their website, pick your price point, and see what you want to do. And if you go up there and you buy a car from them and you say, hey, I love the Ryan Ripken Show and Rocco sucks, hey, they're going to love you even more. They'll give you $1,000 in gas money with the purchase. So Adam's Jeep of Maryland, we appreciate you guys. Fellas, I don't know about you, but I was asleep before 3 a.m. Kevin, you're maybe a little bit different.
No, not me.
Nope, you were still up. You were stirring.
Yes.
A lot of moves. I made the joke again earlier, and I'll make it again. It feels like MLB teams are trying to get their last-minute Christmas shopping in. And I'm not talking that it was just one move. I mean, if we're going to take it a little bit further back here, the Astros signed Christian Walker. The Diamondbacks trade for Josh Naylor. Nate Lowe is traded to the Nationals from the Rangers. And then what else happened to this? Paul Goldschmidt goes to the Yankees.
Jock Peterson
to the Rangers. Then you have the news, Sean Manaea, which was a popular name in free agency. He's going back to the Mets. And then Walker Buehler signs a 1-year, $21+ million deal to go pitch at Fenway Park.
Well, and Manaea was one that you had your eye on for the O's as well.
Yeah, it was a guy that I definitely liked. But let's play the clip about Sean Manaea first, because this gives really good context here. And Harold Reynolds on MLB Network was talking about it. So let's play that clip real quickly, and we'll react on the other side.
Getting it out himself, like really late last night, is Sean Manaea, 3 for $75 million. This according to Mark Feinsand at MLB.com.
We're seeing 1 to 3 year deals.
Well, but this is what I kind of felt like was out there for Bueller, but apparently not. Manaea gets paid 3 for $75. Again, the numbers last year were great, even better down the stretch. We talked a lot on this network about a slight adjustment to his arm angle, his delivery, and he really took off from there. He was great for the Mets, and this is a big return in New York.
I love this because too often, a player gets turned around. A coaching staff helps him figure something out, and then he leaves. This guy figured it out with changing the delivery. It worked for him. It worked for the Mets. I'm sure he didn't come up with this on his own. It was how they did this. They figured it out together, and they brought him back. And so they rewarded him, and he rewarded them. Thank you.
So right there at the end, they rewarded him, and they saved him and helped work with him, and then he rewarded them by coming back. I mean, yes, $25 million a year is a good deal to come back to, but it was a career year for him. So one of the contexts here, and people are wondering, do you have a connection with a team that can bring you back or put you in a position? Sean Manaea going back to the Mets, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if he went elsewhere, I'm sitting there going, well, damn, why didn't he come to Baltimore? That makes sense. $375. I know some people are a little bit bummed on Walker Bueller on that situation. Walker is a great pitcher, but there is a little bit of worry, right? There's worry with every pitcher nowadays. And that was the other thing Harold Reynolds said. Well, how long was the contracts that people are expecting right now? 1 to 3 years, right?
Yeah.
The Max Fried, the anomaly. Blake Snell for 5, that's pretty solid. But again, guys that they're the top of the top. Corbin's going to be somewhere in my mind in that 5 to 7 range.
Yeah.
And if it drops lower to 3 to 4, maybe we could see Corbin Burns back in Baltimore.
Well, but here's my thing: the Manaea trade or acquisition or a signing seems like a deal that the O's probably could have pulled off, even if they had to pay a little extra to get him to Baltimore rather than have him go back to Mets. Or do you think that the O's would have even entertained something like that, or was it, in your opinion, he was always going back to Mets no matter what?
I just feel with how it turned out, I think that the money was close. It would have to have been a deal that knocked his socks off to go somewhere else. And I think it was a comparable deal. Nathan Eovaldi, very similar, right? So you're going to give the benefit of a place that you're comfortable with. If you get the same or equal money, or if it's a little bit more, you got to ask yourself, am I going to be comfortable in a new surrounding? Am I going to go there and have success? And that's a variable that you don't know. That's a reason why when guys are like, hey, it's a good thing. That's like the Cody Bellinger thing. I'm a little worried with Cody going to the Yankees, not because I don't think that he can hit 30 jacks, but playing in New York is a lot different than playing in Chicago. And the pressures of being there in the American League East are a lot different. Sean Manaea knows how to pitch in New York. He knows how to pitch for the Mets. So he goes, you know what? I found my career again. Do I want to risk it? Oh, they gave me what I wanted. All right, no brainer.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of what I look at it for it. And
I think the question for me, and a lot of questions that fans have, and we've even seen this discussion on MLB Network when we were in winter meetings when a lot of moves were being made. And I think it's a good question. I don't think it's meant to be malicious in intent, but you see all these moves being made.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're an Orioles fan, and we've seen this just from our own feedback from our fans, what's happening? Like, it seems as if a lot of these players, especially on the pitching side, are coming off the table. So what is there left, and what do you think are the options that are out there that are realistic for the Orioles pitching side?
Well, and maybe Kev, Zach, Rocco, one of you guys we can maybe go through a quick list of who is still available free agent wise, so we can look at it. I know that there's definitely some panic. And how about Kevin? What was the perception this offseason for Orioles fans through the Orioles fans lens, to Brad's point? Like, what was their expectation for this offseason?
Well, I mean, in terms of guys like Tony and Corbin, there were always possibilities they would come back. Tony probably less so than Corbin, but it was about adding pitching, getting some offensive depth. They've added Tyler O'Neill, who, again, if you want to call that a 1-for-1 for Santander, or even if you don't want to call it that, they needed help against left-handed pitching. And Tyler O'Neill gives you that. And then the backup catcher position, some people wanted James McCann back. Other people wanted an upgrade there. They bring in Gary Sanchez. So now I think people turn to the pitching market. And for Corbin, I think it's an interesting conversation, especially about the length of the contract, because the reports come out probably not going to sign before Christmas. We're only a couple days out from Christmas. But is there a possibility that Corbin, we talked about like the 3-4 year range, does he take a shorter deal, try to cash in one more time? Because he's up there in age a little bit. Could he cash in one more time on like a 2-year deal, like a high money 2-year deal somewhere?
So I'm glad you brought up the Burns Santander, and that's what I wanted to get to. And Brad, to your point, is everyone, when they heard the phrase lift off a couple of years ago, they're going, we're after it now.
Yeah, money.
And then new ownership. Oh, we're going to go out and get these guys. Well, then you're sitting there going, all right.
Even Scott Boras on the winter meeting said that the Orioles were being aggressive, and we haven't really heard much as far as like big deals are concerned.
Right. And one thing is, and certain teams would be willing to say, hey, Max Fried will give you 8 years. If you get 8 years out of Fried, if he's healthy for 8 years, it's an unbelievable investment. He is a great pitcher.
Yeah.
A lot can happen with pitchers right now. To your question, Kev, the one thing that I don't think Burns wants to do, I don't think he wants to take a deal below 4, because if he got hurt in that span, look what happened to Jordan Montgomery having to do a prove-it year. He opted in for his second-year option because he wasn't going to get $25 million a year.
Right.
So Corbin Burns, like, they can say, hey, it's a lot of money at some point, or it doesn't matter. Hey, you know what? If you can make a difference of $80 million or $100 million, that is going to matter. So I think for Orioles fans, and maybe Zach or Rocco, Zach, do you have the list of pitchers that are left?
Yeah, so if we go starting pitcher, I'll go in order of kind of top to from WAR last year. Corbin Burns is the headliner. After that, you go Jack Flaherty, old friend Kyle Gibson. So two old friends there. Justin Verlander, old friend of Mike Elias. Nick Pivetta, I've seen a lot of things with teams looking at him. Charlie Morton, Andrew Heaney, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer. Do not get Patrick Corbin. Michael Lorenzen. That kind of drops off, at least in the WAR category. After that, John Means and stuff is still out there. Jordan Lyles, if they just want to have innings 8, maybe do that again. Yeah. But realistically, if we're going to talk about guys that you feel like, okay, you add to this team and feel like they got better, obviously Corbin Burns, he comes back, you're feeling good.
Yeah. That's my question too, is just like the Yankees have clearly gotten better. Boston's clearly gotten better. We haven't really seen much from the Rays or the Blue Jays yet either. But the O's that haven't done a whole lot to really, can you honestly say that they're better this coming into 2025 than they were in 2024?
At this point right now?
Yeah. Like I know. Right. So
they're not.
So
they're worse.
Something still has to be done.
So here's what it goes. It's again, we are being impatient is in our blood. If you're a fan of anything and you just want your team to make moves, and I'm right there with you. So I do want to wait and see. I don't want to wait too long, obviously, but I'd like to see what this roster looks like heading into spring training. I'd like to see what it looks like when we get there before we make any assumptions or jump the gun on what the Orioles are going to look like in 2025, because I'm guilty of it. 1 week I'll be pissed off. The next week I'll be like, all right, let's wait. So it's really, really hard to do. But what I'll say, try to be patient and see what Mike Elias has up his sleeve. Listen, if not anything, if you get to spring training and the O's haven't made any significant moves, it doesn't mean they won't make moves, but you have a reason to be pissed off because you see the players coming off the boards, and that can mean that they don't have Corbin Burns. To me, if they don't even make a shot at trying to bring this guy back to Baltimore, considering what's now off the market, it's a failed offseason. Make a run at Corbin Burns. If you don't get him, fine. But keeping this guy here in Baltimore should be priority number one. And then keeping your guys, the Adley Rutschmans and the Gunnar Hendersons of the world, locked up and extended here in Baltimore should be priority number 2. And I know there's obstacles with Scott Boras. You got to kind of play ball with him because, again, we talked about the revenge tour that this guy has, and he's trying to get his players paid as much as humanly possible. And I, love him or hate him, I respect it. He's an agent. He's going to do what's best for his guys and himself. But for the Baltimore Orioles, having a top-of-the-line ace in Corbin Burns, you cannot let that guy walk. If you do, and if you don't take a shot at him, again, to me, it's no bueno. So,
well, I think so. And to your point, I think they are taking a shot at him. It's just going to turn out to be, what is that final asking price going to be? And especially if Fried got what he got and Blake Snell got what he got, how do you value Corbin Burns? And that's what Scott Boras is going to say. Well, he's at least, if you're going to go 5 years, he's at least getting more than Blake. And if he's going longer than that, he's getting more than 218. So pick your poison. That's what's going to be the challenge here for Baltimore. And this is my thing. I would be shocked if they don't make a trade or they don't sign other people, because you guys know this. Like, I have full confidence in the young talent on the team.
Yeah.
Offensively,
they're fine.
Offensively, this is not an exaggeration. The Orioles 1 through 9 can have all-star caliber players on their team this year.
Yep.
This year. Jackson's development's going to be the biggest thing to watch there.
Yeah.
Ryan Mountcastle and Ryan O'Hearn are all-star caliber players when healthy. Not saying that they are all-stars caliber. Cedric Mullins
is an all-star.
Colton Cowser, if he takes another step.
Yep.
Jordan Westberg already was. Gunnar, Adley, Tyler O'Neill just hit 30 home runs. There's not a real weakness. Now, the biggest thing for them is their development. Are they going to be able to build off of their struggles down the stretch and grow? That's my only worry on the whole team side, is if you don't go get a surefire addition to your starting rotation that is still young, you are putting a lot of pressure on a team that struggled with pressure last year. And I think the young team, you need veteran help that can help alleviate that. At some point, those young guys are no longer going to be young guys. But for the Baltimore Orioles, if you go in and say, hey, we're going to rock with Grayson, Eflin, Dean, Povich, Sagano, which I believe that they all have a good high ceiling.
Yeah.
You're playing at least with fire of, all right, do we have the anchor? And right now we can't say that they have the full anchor because of injuries and a little bit of inexperience. So,
and that is, if that happens, Rip, if that happens and they don't get a top of the line ace, whether it's Young or Corbin Burns, if the rotation right now is what the rotation is opening day for the Orioles, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off as a fan. I'm upset that the Orioles didn't go out and make the moves necessary to upgrade this team in the starting pitching staff, because that was the biggest question. And listen, injuries played a huge factor into why the Orioles were not as good as they should have been last year, and they couldn't have taken that next step. And some of it was, like you said, development inconsistencies. But you look at all the players that were injured last year. You look at all the players you expect to get back healthy this year. Felix Bautista included, obviously, like tying up the bullpen and just closing games down. He's one of the best closers, if not the best closer in baseball. You need to upgrade the bullpen, aside from him, and you need to upgrade the starting rotation. I don't think there are going to be any concerns about Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman for the rest of their career. They're going to hit slumps, like we said. Baseball's hard. But if that starting rotation is not upgraded as a fan and we get to opening day and there is not significant improvements there, I'm pissed off. That's just from a fan perspective. That's what I'm saying.
So my bigger thing, you say ticked off. I just think it's the heat is on more for them to do well early. And if they don't do well early, then it's going to be very stressful. Like, I could see the group coming out of the gate. If Grayson's healthy and Eflin's dealing, you go, damn, all right, the boys are coming out hot. The problem is that you don't have the stopper. Corbin's the stopper. Yes. When things go wrong, he was the guy, despite his rough month of August. So for the Orioles, I wouldn't be mad with what it is. And I'd even argue, as long as Felix is healthy, knock on wood, not for him to take the brunt work. I'm not going to expect him to be the mountain. Lights are coming on and off, and he's throwing 102-mile-an-hour fuzzballs with 92 split Johnsons, where you're like, well, damn, I can't see that. But arguably, I think in the American League East, I would take the 3 of Batista, Dominguez, and Cano over any other 3 there. I'd say Devin Williams is the best closer in that division. Pete Fairbanks. Is Fairbanks still there? He's gone. I forget. Did he get moved? I think he's still with Tampa.
I think he's still there.
He's still there. But we're looking at it. That back 3, actually, with Batista back, looks pretty damn good. Because all 3 can close a game if you need them to, but let Cano and Dominguez be the setup guys. But the biggest thing above all, to me, it's you're playing with fire and you're counting on guys to step up. And quite frankly, you saw how injury plagued the Orioles got last year. If you don't bring someone else in, that to me is the more worry of, man, I hope someone doesn't go down. Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells are not going to be ready until late in the season. So that's where it's going to look. So we'll see. If they don't get Corbin, I see us, the Orioles are going to acquire someone to trade. That is my gut.
And that would be, and the last thing I want to say on this is that would be great, Rip, because Morosi, when you talk to him at winter meetings, I look at the Orioles and I look at it was Morosi, correct me if I'm wrong, who talked about who's going to pitch game 1, who's going to pitch game 2, who's going to pitch game 3. And if you don't have the answers to those questions and they're not reliable, not that these guys aren't reliable, but like if these guys can't match up against the rest of the American League, then you got to go out and get someone that can. Not saying they can't, but from an ownership standpoint, from a GM standpoint, and from a player standpoint, that's what it's going to take to get to the net. The starting pitching is going to take you so damn far when it's said and done.
And this is a good point again. I'll bring it up, Jabo. Thank you. It takes 2 to tango. Manaea and why those deals got done, Evaldi, price was right, and I like being here.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this, and this is part of the Bohr situation, but if Corbin truly was like, I want to be in Baltimore under any circumstance, I think the deal would have already been done. So I'm not saying he won't come back, but I think it is it's context here. The players play. Kevin, do you like Baltimore? You like Baltimore. You're from here.
Yeah, I like Baltimore. I like
right?
it. Yeah.
So you'd want to stay in Baltimore. Yeah. But so if you had a choice of being in Baltimore going to, I don't know, you were going to go play in
Milwaukee.
And you have no ties to Milwaukee, but those are the 2 teams that want you. You're probably going to go to the place that you are more familiar with, unless you're like, hey, I want to be adventurous and I love what the team's doing.
Or unless Milwaukee gives you an absurd amount of money. You can't say
no. Everyone has different values on what they want to do.
Kevin might just want to use Milwaukee for the slide. I could see him like that's an incentive for him. He just gets to use the slide when he pleases.
I would get one of those what are they, like the set? I don't want to say sacks, but the sacks. And
the sacks, big sacks.
Go down that slide. I'd go record speed.
The burlap sack.
Yes, there we go. I'd go record speed.
The burlap sacks on the carnival.
Oh, that's right. So we'll get Kevin in a sack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Burlap sack.
An striker, big sack guy.
Big sack.
Goodness gracious.
Kyle Van Noy.
In sacks.
Well,
big sack guy.
Big sack guy. Well, while we're waiting for Nick Moore to join us here,
MVP talk.
The other big sack guy.
I was gonna say, we want to get into that in a second. And you know what I was thinking about? Like the last player that I'm really just curious where he goes. It's a 2. It's Bregman and Arenado.
Yeah,
I'm really curious. I think both of those teams are looking at it going, which is cheaper, which costs more. It's going to be Bregman. But I think there are a lot of teams that are wondering. Those are the 2 options that I'm really eyeing. But we know one thing's for sure. Bregman's not going back to Houston. And so wherever those 2 guys goes, I'm intrigued. And then Teoscar Hernandez is still the bat and Tony Taters.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think
where are they going?
I think Tony goes to Houston.
I think he'd be great in Houston. I think Houston's retooling. I think it'd be a great fit. Bregman in Boston or the Mets. I don't think it's going to be New York, but that would be because it would be very interesting to see Bregman.
Are we now with all the first base moves that have happened?
Yeah.
It has to be Pete Alonso back to the Mets, right?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my goodness. I don't. Well, the Mets.
I don't know where he goes.
I don't either.
There's no spots. It feels like it's inevitable.
Like who's got to need it? Who's got to need at first base right now?
There's a graphic out there that MLB Network had,
but Mariners would have to pay up.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
But Pete Alonso is not going to command
Eloy Jimenez off the board.
Yeah, that's a big
Going
one.
to Tampa.
That's a big one.
Unbelievable.
I just feel like Pete Alonso's not gonna be like a $300 million man.
No, yeah.
So like the Mariners haven't spent a ton of money in recent years. Could make sense. They need the offense. God knows they need the offense.
They do, and that's why I think something's going to give here. And also keep in mind, Josh Naylor was linked to the Guardians for a while, right? It's linked to the Guardians for a while, or Guardians to the Mariners. That was okay, there's interest. So Seattle's clearly looking.
Yeah, Christian
clearly
Walker.
looking.
They were in on, I think, a lot of first basemen.
So it's if they don't like Pete Alonso, they might go trade for a guy, and that's where the conversation is going to come back to is what's available, and we're going to have to figure that out. But hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Monday and Thursday. We usually do our happy hour hot stoves on Wednesday, but it's Christmas. We're not going to have the hot stove then, so doing a little bit more baseball for now. But don't you worry, in the springtime, a lot of baseball talk, but it is still football season. We have a lot going on here. And as we dissect a little bit of maybe the MVP race, and I don't know what the chances of winning the AFC North, because that's the division right now that is coming down to the wire, at least as far as the AFC is concerned. Why don't we take a trip up to Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia? Is that you at the higher pitch?
That was me.
That was nice. That was nice.
Had a
Why
little
don't-
harmony.
Why don't we work on that a little bit? That's
I was a little
phenomenal.
flat, but
no,
yeah,
that was good. All those singing lessons, and that's what I get. No, that was beautiful. That was fantastic. But our friends at Hollywood Casino up in Charlestown Races, look, they are now partnering with ESPN Bet. It's going into their sports book on site. We go up there and do shows. We've already done a few. We're going to go up there when everything's officially open. And they are a place to be, a lot of fun. So check them out up there. And if you download the ESPN Bet app and you deposit $10, you'll get a $50, I believe, deposit back. And then you get another $50 if you use the Penn Play app and use the code PENBUILDER. So you do that before the end of the new year, by the way, you'll have 100 hairs. But we appreciate our friends up at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. I'm proud of you guys. Rocco, a little flat.
Sorry.
A little flat.
Yeah, I apologize. I'll be better next time.
Not
Don't-
accepted.
So the reason why is a good time to head on up there. Why? The MVP race. And for the longest time, the odds was like Josh Allen minus 900 a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, it's over. And I guess some people, I don't know if we have that clip about Rex Ryan in the
We do have that clip.
is it in the chamber?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Did Zach put that in there?
Zach, is it in the chamber?
Which one? The
Rex Ryan?
Yep.
It's in there. Well, some people still think, despite everything, that the race is over. It's still over, despite what happened this past week where the Patriots almost won at Buffalo. Buffalo survived. Baltimore gets a big rivalry win, and Lamar had another great outing. But still, the national media isn't convinced. So let's play that clip from Rex Ryan.
This is Josh Allen's MVP race, but Lamar, 3 touchdown passes. Do you think he's closed the gap here? Are we looking neck and neck? What do you think?
No, I think it's Josh Allen. I don't even think it's close. But look, Derrick Henry, that motion or whatever, drifting it over, that's fine. That Haas in the backfield makes a difference right there. 162 yards against supposed to be a really good run defense and all that. Well, I mean, that's another reason why Lamar's numbers, and I get it, they're outstanding and things like that. But here's some numbers that people forget. They've had 417 more rushing yards to running backs than Josh Allen has. Like, this is a guy that doesn't – without Josh Allen, this team wins 2 or 3 games for the Bills. Lamar Jackson, you can still hand it to a Hall of Fame running back. So, to me, I think that's the reason. Lamar's had a spectacular, year.
Yes, he does.
I love Lamar.
Every year.
But absolutely. But Josh Allen? Like, no way, man. Give me Josh Allen.
Okay, so the context of all this, I really just don't like, in general, having an MVP conversation starting in week 3 or week 5.
Yeah.
First off. And again, I love Josh Allen. I love watching him play football.
Yep.
Love watching Lamar Jackson. I love watching great players do some phenomenal things on the field. What I don't like is looking at a situation and saying it's over. And especially when we're looking at the context of schedules, of what's happened, and when you're looking at the entire body of work. Guys, the Patriots game, when we say that the Bills survived, they survived, and it was not just that it was Josh Allen saving them. Josh Allen threw for 154 yards and a touchdown, and apparently on the graphic he didn't throw an interception there.
It was an
Well,
arm
he
punt.
didn't. It was an arm punt, exactly.
That's the dumbest thing I've heard all weekend.
Yeah.
My jaw dropped when I literally.
Yeah.
So look, and you can see the numbers right there. Lamar, 4,500 yards, 40 total touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Josh Allen, 37 total touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Passer rating is 20 points higher. The record's 12-3 to 10-5.
And that passer rating, I think, would rank second or third all time.
It's the second highest at the moment.
So, and nobody has not won an MVP with a passer rating, anywhere near. So I think top 5 with passer ratings in a season have won MVP. So this would be unprecedented if Lamar doesn't win.
So right now, then Lamar, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, which we talked about earlier in the show, against a division rival, division leader. And now Ravens are going to a division leader on Christmas. Kind of reminds you of something last year. And the odds did shift, though. And Kev, I'll let you take it from here because I know you've been chomping to express some thoughts here. But Josh Allen, the odds were 900 last week, down to minus 450. Lamar is now plus 380. I think that this Christmas game is going to tell us a lot. If Lamar has a Jackson 5 on Christmas Day
against the playoff team
and the Chiefs beat the Steelers and this propels Baltimore to win the division, I feel like these numbers are going to change in Lamar's favor.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like, guys, we're back to the point where there just has to be a different excuse used against Lamar every week. This week, it's the Derrick Henry show again. We've had to have that conversation before about, Derrick Henry makes Lamar Jackson so much better. Lamar's not the best player on his team. Did we not watch yesterday? James Cook had 2 touchdowns for the Bills, and I haven't heard James Cook's name mentioned once today on all these national shows. It's like, so we can discredit Lamar because he has a good running back. And yes, Derrick Henry's a much better running back, in my opinion, than James Cook, but that's not like James Cook didn't produce for them. And then calling the whole Josh Allen thing an arm punt. I mean, I get that these guys are both great players. I think they are. But to declare the race over and then stubbornly double and triple down on it when Lamar has a great performance, as we mentioned, against the division leader, you tie yourself in that division, and Josh Allen barely escapes the 3-11 Patriots. It's okay to just admit you're wrong sometimes. Yeah. It doesn't seem like these guys want to.
It looks. I think I was trying to look it up. So somebody, the internet sleuths are going to correct me if I'm wrong. But Josh Allen's 3-2 against playoff teams this season. The Bills are, and then the Ravens are 5-2. And that just again goes to show strength of schedule has also played a factor as to why we're seeing the record from the Ravens that we have seen. I can actually pull this up as well. It's right here. Nope, it's right here. Yeah. So here's the strength of schedule right there on the left-hand side. So your division leaders right now have had some pretty easy schedules. Steelers actually having one of the easier ones. Then the Baltimore Ravens had the 4th-ranked hardest schedule this season, and they are still 10-5, threatening to win the division. So I think that says a lot as well.
Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, all these teams, all these quarterbacks, because it's a quarterback award. I know people can say Saquon Barkley's close to breaking the record for rushing yards in a season.
And he should be in that conversation too.
And Derrick Henry's had a phenomenal year. And Jamar Chase is playing extremely well. It's a quarterback award.
Yeah.
The prisoner of the moment is that Josh Allen's 2 wins were against the 2 best teams in the league, the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs overall, which he was sensational. No doubt about it. But we're looking at a body of work of players. And Zach, we've talked about this before in the heat of a moment situation. I don't like to keep talking about it in that way, but we do seem to forget that there's 17 games in a season. You're going to have quarters of the season where you're going to see really good performances, maybe not as dominant. I also don't like the fact of having Derrick Henry against Lamar.
No,
because he did this before him, and now he's evolving as a passer, which tell you what, if you can't make the throws and have the arm talent and be smart enough to do it, I don't care who's in the back.
He had perfect passer ratings and Jackson 5's well before Derrick Henry got here.
Yeah, and that's the whole point is at the end of the day, he's got Derrick Henry narrative is just it's overplayed because it's all they use right now whenever it's, oh, Lamar had a great game. Well, did you see Derrick Henry's stat line? Okay, like Kevin just brought up, the Bills weren't doing anything on offense. They handed the ball to James Cook once. He went 47 yards. It doubled their offensive production and put them on the scoreboard. James Cook then scored their other touchdown. The other touchdown by the Buffalo Bills that was pretty much the difference in the game was a botched play by a rookie who made a bad throw behind the line of scrimmage, a play call that should have been made, in my opinion. But ball was gifted, a touchdown gifted to the Bills, and they ran with it. I understand the whole you play the teams on the schedule, all of that stuff, because you can't control who you're playing. But at the end of the day, when Lamar Jackson's division games is he's fighting for his life in the AFC North, and you're sitting in the Bills clinched the division, 4 weeks ago?
In a shitty
because
division.
Every other team in their division is a laughing stock after the Patriots are going through a rebuild. The Jets are a dumpster fire. Miami lost Tua for 5-6 weeks, and that completely derailed their season. They had no competition. So and then we see the whole thing afterwards. I mean, Lamar has a great game, comes out the next morning. Well, Josh Allen's been playing this year with a broken hand. PR team just doing incredible magic. And then the whole, the interception getting taken off and, it's an arm punt. It just feels like every time Lamar does anything, it's, he's not going to be the MVP this year because of this, but Josh Allen messes up. It's, he can't do it all by himself.
Finding excuses for
so it's just annoying. That's the biggest thing. It's why I tweeted out earlier today, I'm so over the discourse and debating MVP stuff. Just win the Super Bowl. Yep. I'm tired of Lamar's stats are better, but then Josh Allen's wins. If we voted right now, Josh Allen's going to win the MVP. Just because of the games he's won some moment. And that's, that's acceptable. It's why Lamar won it last year.
If you want to call it voter fatigue, fine. I can live with that. If you're just we're just sick of voting for Lamar, fine. But to spin narratives, to actually make a case for Josh Allen is he should be in the conversation. He should be,
it should be a conversation. That's the thing. It should be an open conversation, Rock. I think, sorry, go ahead. I know you were trying to.
I was going to say, I love the narrative that Josh Allen's not doing it with any help. Like James Cook's not tied for first in rushing touchdowns in the entire National Football League. He's got one more than Derrick Henry. Do we think James Cook's a better player than Derrick Henry? Absolutely not. Derrick Henry's one of one physical football. To say that Josh Allen isn't doing it with help when he has the guy that is tied for first in rushing touchdowns, he's addicted to finding the end zone in James Cook is wild to me. Listen, I know Ravens fans, you'll hate it if Lamar Jackson doesn't win the MVP this year. If Josh Allen wins it, whatever. He's got great numbers. So does Lamar. They're both spectacular quarterbacks at what they do. But Lamar Jackson, I'll tell you this. Last year said the same thing. 2 MVPs is great. 3 MVPs would be better. But the one thing that this guy cares about is the trophy that isn't for individual performance or awards or any of that shit. And it's the Lombardi. That is what Lamar Jackson has strived to be holding up high above his head his entire football career. In that interview with Deion Sanders, back when he got drafted on draft night, all these teams passed up on him. That is what this guy wants more than anything in the world, is that Lombardi. If Lamar Jackson doesn't get the MVP this year, listen, Josh Allen, have fun with it. If Lamar Jackson then goes on to win the Super Bowl, he will be the happiest guy in the world. That is what I feel like people don't realize. Talk shows, we're doing it now. We're debating it now. But this guy cares so much about winning and so much about his team winning at the end of the day that, MVP trophy's great. But
how many years did Michael Jordan have an MVP that he didn't? You know what I mean?
Well, it's the same thing like LeBron for all the years. LeBron could have won MVP over and over and over and over again. I think the bigger thing, true competitors care about winning the big one.
Yeah.
Listen, and the big one is not the most valuable player. It feels good. Hey, when your career's done and being well, damn, I was the best player in the league. I got voted and I was the MVP 3, 4, 5 times. You're damn right you're going to feel good. You're going to be able to stick your chest out. Editor, all the accolades, it's just even on my own level, right? Like I got to play professional baseball, had some great accolades along the road moving up. Honestly, the only ones I compared, I can name the years I won a championship. That's all I could look back on. And that's at me at this level. When you're at at the highest level, no one is going into the season going, hey, you know what? It's a success for the Ravens if we win an individual award.
Yeah, and that's
matter.
what I'm saying with that. When you saw, did you see the mic'd up segment, guys? I'm sure you did. When T. Martin is sitting next to Lamar Jackson on the bench, and he's like, "You got a 5-piece. You want to go for a 6-piece?" And Lamar's like, "That's cool. I just want to win."
Yeah. Stop talking.
What happened?
Your internet's.
I can't tell if it's us or him.
It's both.
Both.
I can't tell either. Yeah, you guys are blurring on my end.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rock.
All right, am I good now?
Nope.
I can wait.
Yeah, how's he sound on yours?
I can hear Rocco. I can hear Rocco fine. It's us that's lagging.
Yeah, go ahead, Rock.
Okay.
It's a studio.
They said it's a studio.
Right.
So, I feel bad for everyone that has to listen to me right now and see my clear face, but here it is. When they did the mic'd up segment that they do, Ravens Wired, and T. Martin is sitting next to Lamar Jackson, and Lamar's already got 5 touchdowns. I believe it was against the Giants, like last week, 2 week, whatever it was. And he goes, Lamar, you got 5. You want to go for 6? Like, you want to go for the 6-piece? And he's like, nah, I'm cool. And you can hear him say, like, I just want to win. Like, that's the type of guy you're dealing with. And Ravens fans are blessed to have this guy as their starting quarterback. And to Brooks, your point, you said Josh Allen will be happy same way. If he doesn't win MVP and he wins the Super Bowl, absolutely. These guys are competitors. They play at the highest level. They care. And they just want their teammates to win as much as they want to win as well. So, again, if Lamar Jackson does not win MVP with the numbers he's putting up, just know, everyone out there, it's not because he didn't kick ass this season. The guy's been playing out of his mind. He deserves it. But listen, if he doesn't win it, he doesn't win it. Tough shit, it happens. I'm sure we'll all move on. Lamar will move on, and he'll win another MVP down the line in the future. But let's not harp on this conversation. Look at the big picture, which is Lombardi Trophy, and that's the one thing he wants in his trophy case.
That's what everyone wants. Are we getting a little bit better?
Yeah, it's better now.
There.
I just checked. We're good.
I appreciate it. Well, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday and Thursday, day before Christmas Eve. There's a game tonight. Packers, Saints. Packers are heavily favored. They should be.
Feels like there's football every day.
Almost.
It's going to be every day this week almost.
So Tuesday and Friday are the only days?
Yes. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Every day is football.
Well, no. Do they have college football on Friday?
Well, college football
college
different,
football.
but we're just talking about.
By the way, like
else.
having these college playoffs during NFL games is just not good for college football.
That was the one thing. The bummer of the Ravens Steelers game is the same time with Texas and Clemson were playing during that one. I think that was it. And then the 8 p.m.
part of
game.
SMU, I think, was in that, right?
SMU and Penn State was noon.
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
Clemson, which Clemson was at the goal line to make it a score, to make it a 1-score game, and got stuffed at the goal line multiple times.
SMU and Penn State was going on during the Chiefs game, though. So like,
yeah. Tough for the program.
You know what's going to be dope? Like Christmas with the NFL, like the NBA. Everyone's talking about how it's a down year for the NBA, viewership wise and ratings wise. The NFL has a chance, if Netflix can figure it out, unlike the Tyson Jake Paul fight, to just establish dominance here on this day for sports and really make it a trend going forward. That's what I'm looking forward to, because it's like, I used to watch NBA games like all the time, like locked in. Now it's like, what are you guys going to be watching? Because I know damn well what I'm going to be watching. My eyes are going to be glued to Netflix watching NFL on Christmas Day. It's going to be unbelievable.
Especially the fans of it. I mean, but I just hope that they have the whole streaming figured out. That is going to be, because if there is anything down at any point, the NFL community is not going to hear the end of it. All the fans, everyone that watches, is going to be probably overstuffed from the holiday, maybe a little bit, had too much eggnog.
Themselves a little bit.
So a lot of comments are going to be flowing out there more than usual on the holiday season. But I think we finally have we might have finally gotten our guest as
Yeah,
we're able to come by.
I tried texting him, but it looks like we're still having difficulties. But here he is.
It's the first time. He's working on it. He's a good kid. Finally, Ravens get a victory over the Steelers. It had been a long time, but I'd like to say it was because of number 46. And let's bring on our friend, future Pro Bowl and best shit talker from a long snapper in the NFL, Nick Moore. There he is.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Nick. How's the camera situation turning out?
It's not great. I'm on my phone, as you can tell. It's kind of shit. You know, it happens.
You look good, though. It actually looks better.
We'll get it fixed.
We'll get it fixed.
Know what the hell is going on. I've tried everything. So
At least you got good lighting still.
Yeah, I got the light, but something's going on with the camera itself. It's not picking up anything. I can't even get it to work on like a regular on something else. So well.
We'll get you straightened out.
Are you rested?
I can see the headlines now, Nick. It's like Ravens All-Pro can't afford high-speed internet in Pittsburgh.
That's exactly what's going to happen there. You're a good kid, Nick.
Yeah.
Nope. Hey, you're a good kid. Very good kid. Hey, yeah, it's funny. I was checking everything.
You all right?
I'm good. I was just watching your artwork. Just taking in the moment here.
I respect it.
Nick, get a curiosity. I still laugh that out of nowhere, because you didn't know anything, we didn't know anything, and someone comes up to you and just say you talk a lot of shit for a long snapper. First off, shirts is going to be incredible.
Yes.
Talk a lot of shit for a long snapper. Don't you love when people take the whole context out of what it was? The 80% that it was good. You were actually commenting Rocco's Steelers.
Dude, yeah, I got tons of respect for that team. They're a great football team. They have been for a long time. I love, Coach Tomlin does some really great things over there. And obviously they have three of the best players, arguably ever to play defense. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. And obviously when we're playing in the games, we want to win. And, we're enemies when it's go time. But, as players and as coaches and as individual people, I really admire them. And I think they have a great organization and they've been very successful. So I'm not really sure how the translation got taken the way that it did.
So let's add some context to this. So for our viewers who don't know, there was some Pittsburgh media out there basically taking what Nick said out of context on Thursday's show about Patrick Queen and Derrick Henry and seeing who's going to be the man on top when they go toe to toe against each other. And that was like one little snippet that the Pittsburgh media ran away with. And then I'll let you take it away, Nick, and then you can kind of talk about your conversations.
Yeah, and the last thing to say with that beforehand, Nick, was you just gave a whole spiel about how much you respected the Steelers. The reason why I'm like, damn, I already heard you say this, because that's what you exactly like you're saying. Physical team, they've beaten us 8-9. You said all of that. There was one line that you said that when you were saying, well, for us to have success, we got to get to the second level. Yeah. We got to get past their strong defensive line, and we have one of the best centers, and we think we got a good left tackle, and we're going to go up there and we're going to punch him in the mouth, and then we're going to see Patty going against Derek. That's all you said. Yeah. And I think you said, and then because you actually know PQ, you had a little spice to it, and everyone's like, this Nick Moore dude hates.
Yeah.
This guy sucks.
Guys, I have a confession to make. I made a call to Pittsburgh media. Apologize. I slipped them, some money in an envelope, and I said I need this posted before the game to just fire up the boys and everything, get them going. So, sorry. My bad.
It's your fault again.
It's your fault again, Rock. But yeah, Nick, the funny thing is you had no idea what was going on, and you're getting chirped on the field.
Yeah, I had no clue. I'm out there just pregame warm-ups. I'm talking with, Christian Kuntz, who has his own podcast, the long snapper there. He didn't say anything. Boswell didn't say anything. Neither did Corliss Waitman. And then all of a sudden, Pat just starts yelling at me. And I was like, him and Connor Hayward. And
yeah,
I'm kind of like, he literally said that to me, and I was like, "Are you talking about me? Like, what the hell did I do?" I was like, "I didn't say anything. What are you talking about?" I was like, I genuinely never talk shit on the field. Like, I don't know where he's getting that from. So then when I got back in the locker room, obviously y'all sent the articles in the Discord, and I saw it, and I was like, this is completely taken the wrong way. Like,
It's fantastic.
I've talked numerous times on the podcast and in the public about, how much I respect PQ, and we came here together as first year players, and we played against each other in college. And I think he's a tremendous player, and I got to know him really well in the 4 years that he was here, and he was always great to me. And I felt like we had a really good relationship, and I didn't by any means have any ill will towards him, or I wasn't trying to throw shade at him or anything. I hadn't slight him in any way. Obviously the media tried to take that and say that I was talking shit about him. And honestly, I wasn't, because I thought he played a hell of a game the first time around. And I was just saying that this is what we need to do to win the game, because everyone was talking about how they were able to mitigate Henry the first time around. And, they were getting to Lamar, and we weren't able to run the ball, and they were making us one-dimensional and all this other stuff. And I was like, this is how we're going to win. We got to stay.
You give a passionate speech. You give a passionate speech, and it says, and we're fucking ready to go. That's how it ended. And it was like,
I'm ready, dude.
But Nick, well, maybe I told you this or not, but
I lost
it. And also you have a relationship with said individuals, like little things that you can say about being like, oh, like put your big boy pants on, or like do stuff. That's just like how you talk. Like if I say I'm going to beat the shit out of Rocco, like I will, but also like we're friends. So it's fine. Yeah. Right. So in that case, saying, hey, meet Derrick Henry and PQ. It's going to be a matchup to watch. We said that in the first game, but that's how it works, Nick. But we understand, certified Steeler hater, but you guys got the victory, man.
We did. If my memory serves me well, I said something very similar the first time around too.
Literally,
that's what I'm saying. You literally said, wouldn't that be something? Derrick and PQ meeting in the hole.
Yeah. I mean, that's the nature of the game. I mean, it was Roquan and Najee, and I feel I was stating the obvious, and they use it as fuel to get them going, that the long snapper who plays 7 plays a game is talking shit about our all-pro running back against their all-pro linebacker. Like, whatever, It's no,
my favorite part of the big article was when at the end it goes through like, oh, Ravens long snapper more throw shade at PQ and goes like through all the quotes, and then at the very end it goes, Nick also had very complimentary things to say about the Steelers, and puts the entire quote, and then he's like,
a side.
We will see what happens.
Pick a side.
This was the exact ending to the article. Amped up as he previewed the matchup. Moore said this game will be as physical and intense as the first meeting. It's going to be a bloodbath, he told Ripken. That's Steelers-Ravens football. We don't want it any other way. We're going to answer. We're ready to rock, and these guys are going to be ready to go. Wear earmuffs, ready to rock, dude. So we're effing ready to rock too. And then it goes, and Moore offered some credit to the Steelers, acknowledging how prepared they will be for this game. Steelers have won 8 of the last 9 games between the rivals and 4 in a row. Making it 5 will be the team's sweetest victory of the season. Before Moore's comments, there was plenty of motivation for the game. There we go. So
nobody's getting motivated by listening to the fucking long snapper, dude. Come on.
I'm fired up, man.
Kevin's all fired
up.
When you said we're getting ready to rock, I'm like, you know what? I'm running through this brick wall over here.
What would happen, Nick? What would happen in that locker room if you just decided to just like get up and just start a speech right there and just say, "Hey guys, we need to focus and win and hit." You go out there, like, what would be the reaction from your boys?
I mean, I definitely have guys in our locker room that I feel like they respect me, and I've been a captain a couple times, and
not a big deal.
I've been given opportunities to speak, and obviously with the offense and defense, I don't have, I'm not a part of that, so it's hard to speak on that. But like, I feel when we're in special teams environments, guys are responsive to me. Like I've been around a while, and I know the ins and outs of what we try to do and what makes us successful and how other teams are going to exploit us. And, we have a young group on special teams. A lot of first-year guys are playing. We got 3 rookies starting on the punt team, and not counting the gunners. And, the guys have been very receptive, and they respect me and how long I've been there. And my, when I do decide to talk, everyone listens, and, they know that I'm very passionate about it because that's all I do. So I take a lot of pride in punt team and being the best punt, protection unit that we can be, and also being the best coverage. And guys know that, and they are respectful of that. So, I'm not by any means getting the team riled up like Roquan or Matt PK or Al Van Noy or somebody like that. But, when I get an opportunity to talk to the guys, I take advantage of it. And usually it's received very well.
Damn right it is.
I do appreciate the title being Ravens All Pro.
Yeah.
So at least they put All Pro in there.
Some respect on your name.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And you know what? We love it. It adds more fuel to it. If it gets fan bases all riled up, the reality is what happens on the field. And besides Lamar's 1 interception, it was all Ravens. What you got?
I should have screenshotted it. I'll try to find it. But the article obviously got tweeted out, and it said Ravens LS. Nick Moore talks about it, throw slander at PQ. And someone in the comments was like, LS as in long snapper. Is this where we're at, where we're getting motivation from the other team's long snapper?
You know what? They don't have a long snapper like the Ravens do. I'll tell you that.
Their guy's good, man. He's a good player. He played well against us. He handled some pressures. He's had a really good season. So I got a lot of respect for him. Him and I are XFL guys, and we've both been journeymen and made it and kind of made a name for ourselves in our respective towns. And he does a lot of good things in Pittsburgh. He's got his own podcast, like I said, and he's got does some charity stuff, and he's he got a nice contract this year. So kudos to him. He's a hell of a player.
Go ahead, Zach.
I was just gonna say, kind of not to completely move on, but
moving on.
Yeah. So Nick, 51 yards. Everyone's talking about, Justin Tucker this, Justin Tucker that. 51 yards in the elements, easy. How we kind of just as a group, as a unit, do you feel like you're kind of in that groove again? It's kind of everything prior, all the discussion before. It does feel like, okay, the group's going in the right track, and you're back to what you've talked about all year of, hey, we know we're going to get back to this.
Yeah, that was a huge kick for Tuck and for all of us. I mean, we needed that at that time in the game, and it's a difficult kick. I mean, dude, I don't know if you guys were there, but it was like 20, 25-mile-an-hour winds, and it was kind of a weird, at that position, it was slightly at our back, but it was more going left to right.
Yeah.
And it was a tough kick to make in that situation. And, Tuck, after the first time playing the Steelers and things didn't go the way we wanted them to go for us, that was huge for him and for all of us to kind of remind the guys hey, we're still the unit. He's still JT9, and he can still, be the best kicker in the league. And I think that kick right there was an excellent kick in that situation. And I know the announcers were getting on me for saying the snap was bad, but
was in your eyes, how would you rate the snap?
Well, we teach to throw the ball over the spot, and that one was a little bit wider than I would have liked. It was probably 6 or 8 inches too wide. But Jordan did a nice job of catching it and putting it down on the spot. And luckily the laces were 12 o'clock and didn't have to move it any, and allowed Justin, we gauge it on where he's at in his approach to the ball when the ball is on the ground, is stationary. And it was done, it was executed really well by Jordan. And obviously Justin struck the ball really well and had a great kick there. So that was huge for us moving down the stretch. We know how important these field goals are going to be as we get into these later games and into the playoffs. Every time you can get points on the board it's a huge deal, and it's a make or break situation because a lot of teams thrive on that momentum, especially like Pittsburgh. When we missed a couple kicks in Pittsburgh, it seemed to be like they were kind of just taking over the game. They were thriving on that, and they were building on that, and so they did a good job of using that to help them. And so for him to be able to make that kick right there in the game, it was huge for us, and we were able to use that momentum and continue to play well the rest of the game after that. So
I was gonna say that one. What was the best thing for me to watch personally?
Yeah,
was just how pure that puppy was hit. Like seeing like it had that full. You saw it as soon as it left the foot. You're like,
it was straight.
Man, that thing looks good. You know, like it was such a awesome sight to see again. You brought up momentum, and Kevin used what was your phrase about momentum again?
If you give the Ravens a momentum play, it's going to be a bad rest of your day.
That's great right there. Write that down there. Yeah, Nick smiled right there.
Nick, you can steal that for your next speech.
There it is. Yes.
I give you permission. You have my blessing.
Yeah.
You could say it in a more rugged way if you want. You know, you give,
I can't do the rugged thing. I can't.
I'll spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, spice it up a little bit. But the momentum you mentioned, because it is a deflating play. That's like kicking it can elevate a team to new highs, and it can also bring a team down and be deflating. The Steelers game you mentioned, that Eagles game was definitely an example. But when things are right, I mean, you guys can do anything better than anyone in the league. It's just about getting back on track. It's great to see. Hopefully Christmas brings the same results, if not better. Hey, buddy, I don't know. You probably didn't get this news, but former teammate's going to be
two. Yeah, we got two.
I know.
Okay.
But I was going to start with the one that they probably won't see because it's Wednesday game.
I was just saying we still had a Justin Tucker question.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get right back to the Tucker question.
Okay.
I was just going to say.
What?
So why don't you chill the hell out and have a beer, Brad?
Well, because I'm the goddamn cat herder. That's why.
Oh, okay. There's some anger behind that, Nick. There's been back and forth on the behind the scenes here between Rocco and Brad, but don't worry about that. I was just telling you, Nick, Deontay Johnson got claimed by the Texans. So
right. Of course.
Maybe,
of course.
So I don't know if he's going to be active for that, but hey, you know, reunion.
And then real fast, Kevin, what was the move the Ravens did? Is kind of
the Ravens and Texans just trading wide receivers around. Steven Sims got claimed by the Ravens from the Texans. So, little trade on waivers for the Ravens and Texans.
The rumor had it he's going to go meet with Nick, and Nick's going to get him inspired and ready to go for this run. So it's perfect. Now to go back, because this is to the Justin Tucker question.
Yeah.
And this was asked about before. Tuck commented, Nick, on the whole kickoff situation thing. So we're going to play Tuck's response between him and Stout kicking.
No, we're not.
No, we're not going to play it.
We don't have it. I was just going to quote it because we don't have it.
So, okay.
Anyways,
cool.
Nick,
glad we did that.
Listen, Nick, we first mentioned this to you off camera about the whole Jordan Stout thing, and now it's been addressed in the public. So I figured it'd be a good time to bring it up. But Justin Tucker was asked about Jordan Stout kicking kickoffs, and he basically Justin came out and said, as a competitor, obviously you want to be on the field all the time. No shocker there. But he said that Jordan has the ability to hammer the ball and give us the best opportunity to spot the ball on the 30-yard line. Then I'm all for it. As a competitor, I want to be out there for every single rep possible. But as a teammate, I want to see us succeed. As a Raven, I just want to see the Ravens win. That's a very typical Justin Tucker response to something like this. We've heard him say stuff like that before, so no shock there. But what's the idea there, or if you're allowed to speak on that, as far as the change up on kickoffs?
You know, I think first off, Justin, he takes a lot of pride in kickoff. He's been doing it his whole career. I know a lot of kickers now used to with the old kickoff style. A lot of kickers were basically becoming field goal specialists, and then they'd get a punter that could do the kickoff stuff. And so Tuck really took pride in doing that. And, as far as what's going on now, it's difficult to kick in these games. I mean, in the wind, for us the other night going to the right of our bench, we're basically kicking into a 25-mile-an-hour headwind, and ball just doesn't travel. And Jordan has a little bit of a stronger leg. It's a little bit, it's not as tuned up as Tuck, obviously, because Jordan's a punter, but he was a kicker at Penn State and kickoff guy at Penn State and Virginia Tech. So he's had a lot of experience with that in college, and he's kind of steadily works on it, here and there throughout the time he's been here. And so I think he got a rep at it last year. I believe it didn't go super well for him, but I think it's just given us an opportunity to, sometimes we don't want to cover kicks. And if we're hitting into a headwind like that, or it's cold and the ball is not going to fly as far, we want to get a touchback. We got to go with, sometimes they like to put Jordan in there because he can give us a touchback. He has a better chance anyway. And, Tuck still can do it. But it's, in certain situations, it's a little bit harder, a little bit challenging for him, just based on wind and all that stuff. So I don't think we're thinking we need to dive into that too much. I feel like Tuck hit it on the head with his response. And, we're in the business of servicing the team. Whatever they need, we're going to do whatever they ask us to do. So, he's, they wanted to make a switch there for a couple and give Jordan an opportunity. And it worked. He hit the one way out of the back of the end zone. And then the next one, as we saw, a guy who can hit the ball 10 deep, out the back, can still hit the ball to the 5-yard line. So things happen in the game, and they were going with what they thought was the best chance to get a touchback. And that's all that was.
Yeah. So, and Rock, I know you got a question real quick. The one thing I was going to say with that win, by the way, Boswell kicked one out of bounds.
Yeah.
So, like, just throwing the context of you saying when things are swirling and we're not seeing there,
Yeah.
Boswell, I'd argue, he's one of the most elite kickers out there. We've seen him.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a quote unquote mistake, but the elements, they play a difference. Rock, did you have a special teams related question?
Yeah, Nick. I know, it's no secret that fans were like losing their minds earlier in the season about just special teams and mishaps or what have you, whatever you want to call it or they want to call it. But they were freaking out to the point of, oh man, is Justin Tucker still the guy? I know that the confidence in the locker room has never wavered. And Harbaugh said that, your teammates have said that, and I know you've said that as well. But looking at the past 2 weeks especially, and I do not want to jinx anything for this unit going forward, but what has allowed you guys to be so successful and just hitting on everything the last 2 games, just against the competition? Because it's been like, okay, well-oiled machine, things are going well right now, and that's how everybody, including you guys, want to see it going forward.
Yeah, I've seen, I've said this kind of the whole season. I've seen Tuck for a long time now. And, throughout this season, when we're working on Wednesday, Friday, pregame, I see that Tuck every day. I know, in the games, it hasn't quite been there yet. We've missed a couple balls that we would like back. But he's the same guy he's always been, and he still juices the ball. I mean, we hit on Saturday, we were hitting 65 and 70-yard balls in warmups, and he's still Justin Tucker. I've said that. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point. So, he's still the man. He's still the guy. He's still showing people that he can play, and he's in his eyes, he's got another 10 years to go. So he's just getting started, and we're building on that momentum. He hit the ball really well against the Giants in those 5 extra points. And on the other night, on Saturday, he struck the ball, I would say probably the best he struck the ball this year in a game. And so, it's definitely boosting his confidence. But at the same time, like, we see that all the time, every day. And it's just a matter of putting it out there in the games. And when we get the opportunities to put points on the board, we got to capitalize. And he's done a great job of that in his career, and he's going to continue to do a great job of that. And there's nobody else I'd rather have, back there to make a game-winning kick down the stretch in the playoffs than Justin Tucker. So I love playing with him. It's an honor to play with him, and pushes me to be better. And he's there to pick me up when I'm not doing good. So Jordan and I are, we're kind of taking that role a little bit this year, making sure everything's perfect for him so that he gets the best opportunity to make field goals. And that's part of our job. So we're working together. We feel really good. Chemistry between the 3 of us is at an all-time high. So we love taking the field together, and we're going to continue to do the things that we've always done.
Nick, you said you don't want to beat a dead horse. I feel like the dead horse needs to be beaten right now, because it's like you need to remind people that this guy is the greatest kicker, not only of our generation, but one of the greatest kickers arguably of all time. And he's gotten the Ravens in so many big moments, and he's won the Ravens so many big games. So like, let's not forget who Justin Tucker is. And that's why I wanted to ask you that, because it's like, the guy, like you said, he wants to potentially kick for like another 10 years. And that's insane to hear.
Yeah, go ahead, Rocco.
He does. It's crazy.
Tucker sucks. I think that's what Rocco was saying.
The Steelers media might be listening.
Right? Is that? I thought that's
Yeah. Listen. I got the recording set right now. I'm just waiting for you to say something off so I can fire it off to another team. You want to say anything about the Texans right now?
Yeah. CJ Stroud's a bum.
No, we got another big test this week, man. Texans are a good football team. They got their special teams is elite, and they got some really talented guys on that side. It's going to be a big challenge for us. I know they got a lot of older guys on their special teams. They picked up Delshon Phillips from us. He was here the last 2 seasons, and he's a fantastic player, really physical, fast, dominant special teams player. And they have some dudes, so it's going to be a big challenge for us. And, we wouldn't want it any other way. We believe that we're the best special teams unit in the NFL, and we pride ourselves on that because we've had a great history here of special teams with Harbs having, that special teams background. And Chris Horton is, I think, one of the best, if not the best special teams coach in all of football. And, we just want to make sure that we're ready to go and that we can go up against the best and go toe to toe with these guys. And so we're excited for the challenge, excited for the opportunity. And it's going to be a hell of a game on Christmas Day, man. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be great. It's going to be physical ass football. They got a talented roster up and down, offense, defense. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. We played each other twice last year. And, at this point in the season, like all 4 teams that are playing on Christmas are already clinched in the playoffs. So these are going to be some awesome games to watch as a fan, and it's going to be a hell of an environment to play in as a player. So I'm excited for that.
Try to spin that one.
Spin that one.
You can't.
Nico Collins.
Look, listen. This is the way I look at it. I never wish ill on anybody, because in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And so I want people to play their absolute best football, so that it forces me to play my best football and our best football as a team.
Yeah.
And so that when we win, then we're the best. I don't want to catch someone on a bad day, because that's not how it is as a competitor. I don't want someone to be able to say, well, we didn't do this, or we played bad, or whatever. It's like, no, we played our best ball and we came up short. And that's just, I want everyone to be great. But at the end of the day, it's a competition, and somebody has to come out victorious. So for us, we want everyone to play well. We just want to play better. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. You could tie, but it's very rare that you could tie.
I know in the regular season.
You just want to have fun out there, right? You just want to go out there, put a smile on, and then be ready to rock.
We're not NFL's not in the business of giving participation trophies. So you got to earn what you get in the NFL. And all the guys that are the greats, the guys that make it to Canton, the guys that get talked about forever, those guys are the best because they beat the best. And that's what we want to be. So that's what we have to do.
Yeah, you're damn right. And on Christmas, you got a great opportunity and potential chance to, depending on what happens in the Steelers-Chiefs game, you have a chance to sit alone on the division by the end of Christmas Day, which we hope. But a lot of great teams playing, a lot of ball happens, and a lot of weird shit happens in Pittsburgh. Because we're running a little bit longer, because we know we had the Nick is trying to learn how to use the camera.
Yeah.
And it's a process. We're getting there. Brad's going to have to go back and show.
We'll get it figured out. It's not the first time I've had with that.
Well, I was going to say, because I don't know if we have enough time to really go over the Mark Andrews thing. We could talk about it after.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we could just tell it to, because I know Nick seriously wants to just talk about how there's a storm brewing up at.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
What?
There's a storm brewing up with the Fighting Irish. South Bend.
Buddy.
Before we get into that, Nick, real trees or fake trees? Which is better?
Realtree.
Okay.
I was
We-
gonna.
We do.
The poll right now is overwhelmingly fake, 70-30.
Wow. Well, your tree behind you is fake, right? You put it together.
Yeah, we do the decorative fake trees, but the real tree where Santa puts all of his presents, and we do the present exchange on Christmas. It's got to be real.
Hey,
That's right.
hey, favorite Christmas movie, holiday movie. We can just open it up if you want.
So, in high school, our weight training coach. We took weight training as a class back in the day. Every year we watch Christmas Vacation, so that's a class. I love that one. My son and I watched the Home Alones this year.
Ooh,
They're also a classic. And a sleeper, not a sleeper. I really like Elf as well. So those are probably my three: Home Alone 1 and 2, Christmas Vacation, and Elf. Those are top three. I'd say the best one, if I had to pick one to watch by myself without my kid, I would have to say I would watch Home Alone 1.
Christmas Vacation was Mark Andrews' favorite Christmas movie.
That's a great movie. I've seen it so many times. I used to be able to the whole movie, but I have not watched it since I graduated high school, because I saw it basically like middle school, elementary school, middle school, high school. I would go to school with my dad. And so like we'd be waiting around for the bus or whatever, and the first period of high school would be in, and they'd be watching Christmas Vacation. I've seen it, 100 times probably.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Christmas Story?
Christmas Story is a good one.
All right, I respect it.
it was on TV so it was on like TBS like every single year.
Yeah.
Like PBS, TNT, like they line it up on Turner. Yeah.
Christmas Vacation is one of those. It's like one of those movies where you're flipping through the TV, you see it on there, and then you can't turn it off. You have to watch it the rest of the way.
Yep.
I feel like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is one for me, but then also the Santa Claus. I feel like it's underrated. People don't talk about Santa Claus a lot, but
Those are good films.
There's a lot of great ones. I mean, I you guys already know I love the old classic Grinch, 25-30-minute animated version. I do love the Jim Carrey Grinch.
Oh yeah,
it's fantastic as well. Jamie's a huge The Holiday, Love Actually, and she was watching Family Stone the other day. I think
she watched the Hallmark Channel a lot of days.
Well, no, she's not the Hallmark one. Those aren't the Hallmark ones. I'll say The Holiday though, like actually good cast. It's a classic. It is a rom-com. Jack Black. How can you hate Jack Black? Just as he's unhateable.
Charlie Brown Christmas. That's always a good one too.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Joe, you kind of look like Pigpen with like the beard and everything else going on. So it's the resemblance is there.
That was a good one by Rocco. That was
good. You're good. Hey, Nick, because I don't want to keep you too long because you're running late, and I don't want to get you in trouble because you do have to get ready. You're flying tomorrow, right?
Yeah, leaving tomorrow afternoon. Practice in the morning, and then flight at 3:30.
Flight at 3:30, man. So we can just wait for our banter. We'll have at least through next week to really like get ready for, Notre Dame.
If you want to watch a highlight tape, just go to the 1981 Sugar Bowl.
Because that's going to help.
That's relevant
decide
to
this
today.
game.
Hey, Notre Dame and Georgia played in the Sugar Bowl.
43 years.
I'm assuming Georgia won.
I am too.
You're assuming your assumptions are correct.
Was that the Herschel year, or am I off?
No, that's correct. Herschel. That was
I really
national.
wanted to see what is the line for the
Georgia's -1.5 right now.
I'm telling you, man, hammering the Irish.
or Notre Dame opened as favorites.
That's wild. That is wild.
That's only because they played, dude. They beat Indiana, dude. Sick.
Ooh.
Yeah. I remember that Tennessee was the big bad Wolves down in the SEC. Like they were a good team.
I was extremely disappointed and quite frankly surprised at how poorly Tennessee played.
I was surprised too.
They played
seemed on par for the course.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised about it, just because I don't trust Tennessee.
Well,
If
like
it was Alabama would have been better than Tennessee there. I just didn't think all year.
They
Tennessee
did all that dumb
not
shit at the
impress
beginning of
me.
the game. I think that's what set him up for failure. That dumb shit at the beginning of the game.
They almost had him.
Yeah. Kind of like Marshall soccer almost had Vermont in the national championship game.
Man,
Hey,
what are you doing, Rocco? You're coming with all these. Yeah, okay.
Oh, no.
That
He's
was
gone.
just
Man.
crazy. That was
Rocco,
just
what? Choosing violence for
fucking
what?
holiday. It's the fucking holiday. Like, wow, have some damn respect.
Oh my
God.
god!
Remember
It's just
Saturday,
unreal.
Rocco, when the Ravens won?
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember when Nick Moore talked shit on the field?
Yeah, the best. Wow.
The
And then-
Ravens
and then
three-
pointed-
three
and
for
then-
16,
and
three for
then-
16.
Yeah, and I remember Nick actually. It's like I saw him. Remember the Titans was on. It's that moment.
Left side.
No, what's his name though? And he just was it. Which one is it? Is it just points at the other coach or the other team? Just points
Oh
at
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Who is it? But that was Nick. Nick was pointing right at Rocco though, being like, "This shit's for you." Yeah, hey Nick, I did high five Rocco's dad when Mark scored.
It was bullshit.
It was phenomenal.
My dad's a
Yeah.
diehard Steelers fan, and he's clapping and high-fiving Ripken afterwards. And I'm just sitting there like, what the hell are you doing, dude? I was like, that's not how we operate in this house.
Did you?
So
did
mad.
Because Steve read the room and he knew that he was allowed had to behave himself in
Oh my God.
in the Ravens with Calvin and everything. He can't be upsetting Calvin.
Oh, that's okay.
You ruined my Christmas.
He
Man.
was-
I don't know
he
if I
was-
can talk to my dad now. It's like we're on the fritz. It's just like, thanks a lot, man. Thanks to you and your teammates for just ruining my holidays. We really appreciate that.
So thanks for doing you. And we can talk, Nick, more about the SEC and all of that. I'm just saying though, what we talked about earlier, if you say the most deserving gets in, regular season games are not going to. We might as well just do the AP top 12 to start the preseason.
No, that's not true.
Florida State was what?
I'm just. I mean, the SEC. This might be the hot take, and you can think on this if you want to leave. Is the SEC actually can get more opportunities than every other team? One, it's the toughest conference, but because of who they play, they're going to get a chance to get in more, and they did. They got 3.
Yeah.
But the reason why Alabama isn't in the thing is not because they lost to Ole Miss or because they lost to Tennessee. It's because they lost to a team that didn't have one win and was 6-6 on the season.
Yeah.
And Vandy. That's the reason.
You're
Ole
right.
Miss. If Ole Miss only lost to the 2 losses were bad.
Well, if they didn't lose to Kentucky.
They lost to Florida. They had a chance to beat Florida. And
Yeah,
Jackson
Florida was
Dart threw like two picks.
Yeah, Miami beat them in the swamp though.
Yep.
I'm gonna laugh so hard though, Rip, and I cannot wait until you have to eat your words when it's Texas Georgia in the national championship. And like,
Dude, I'll tell you what, if
Who's
Ohio
this for you?
plays like they
plays a
did,
friendly bet.
I already said that an SEC team is not winning this. I already told Nick he's got to think about what he wants.
They
Do
will.
I give him, Nick? I got a little something I got to give to you anyway. But yeah, we got to think of something while you are you combing your beard? Are you pondering?
Notice I got the gray streak right here. It's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pissing me off.
I got him
too.
coming in too.
All right, well, Nick, go do your thing, but you can just simmer on the fact that I think the committee got it right.
Okay.
Listen, Nick, I'll defend the SEC's honor. Don't you worry. I got you, buddy. Like,
I believe it.
yeah, we'll take care
No,
of
he
it.
doesn't. Hey, you're a good kid, Nick. Happy holidays. Be good. Travel safe. All right,
Hey,
man.
Merry Christmas, Nick.
I'll be
See you,
good.
buddy. Merry Christmas.
Appreciate
Nick.
you.
Oh, Rocco.
No, I'm the only one clapping. Thank you, Rocco. We almost had a repeat.
I feel like we
No,
have
it was
like
worse
such good,
when you
we
clap
have
for yourself.
such good introductions with Nick, and then all of a sudden we're like, yeah, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, he's a good
I
kid.
Yeah, Merry-
I
Merry-
love that he was just sitting there in silence.
It's like Merry Christmas, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it is bad. It took him about 15, 20 minutes to get the camera going. And I felt
Yeah.
bad. I didn't want to take up too much time.
I was texting him trying to get him to try different browsers and all, but it wasn't working. So I'm gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
The Gremlins, that's what I'm good at.
Yeah, trying to figure that all out. Well, guys,
Great
I mean,
guy, Brad. Great guy, Brad.
Thanks, Rocco.
Yeah, but I have told Nick, it's just fun to throw out there. I think Alabama's a better team than Indiana. We've already talked about that. But the college football playoff is becoming more like the NFL college football in general is becoming more like the NFL by the year.
Yes, but it's not even close.
It's not, but what it is it's, hey, I'm going to just become a agent every single year.
Yeah, now they're
pay
using,
me.
Yeah, man. Instead of transferring, now people are signing, and like it's
Yeah.
They have general managers.
Well, yeah, it's like what
at football programs.
NIL. I think I saw this Ohio State NIL money is like $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
they're going to end up putting a salary cap on it. Like that's my thought. They're going to put a salary. They're going to put a salary cap. They're going to sign kids to contracts.
Yep.
And then right now you got to make a decision. Is it the 12 most deserving teams or is it the 12 best teams? And how do you do that?
That's a conversation
it's going to end up
forever.
Jesus Christ. Well, there's multiple angles to this. One of them is obviously like, are we, diluting the value of a college education by just like paying whoever is the highest bidder, which, I mean, again, another conversation we can have forever. But then the other side of it is just like, I want to see them get paid, but where it's going, the Pandora's box that's been opened is now just
the quarterback that hasn't played in college yet just flipped from LSU to Michigan for $12.5 million,
which is bananas.
And he hasn't played a single snap. I mean, hell yeah. I mean,
well,
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Of course, you can't blame the player, but like the system itself,
is screwed.
Well, fuck.
You talk about that. Like there was a kid that I think his team was either his team was in the college football playoff, and I saw the story the other day, and I think this was what Nick Saban was talking about. What's that, Zach?
It's a backup quarterback from Penn State.
Yes, backup quarterback from Penn State, and then he hit the transfer portal. And did he not transfer to SMU or somewhere? Or like he was like looking there. That's probably a lie. I'm making shit up. But he entered the transfer portal before the season even ended. And if like
he's going to lose his opportunity to get paid and go play somewhere else.
Well, if I'm a team, I'm trying to pick him up and scout the opponent even more next week. Like if that's even possible. Like who are they playing next? Are they playing Boise State? If I'm Boise State, I'm like, all right, come on, buddy. Come be our scout team quarterback for the time being. If there's not rules against it.
Yeah, you got rules against that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. But the thing is, it's just becoming a mess.
Yeah.
It's like Marty Huggins would say.
Marty Huggins.
Get yourself a room because it's a mess. No idea.
Within the next.
Don't you shit your pants, Marty. Call him
within
tickle shit.
5 years, there's going to be some sort of rule implemented somewhere where it is the transfer portal is from X date till X date. And it's got to become that, and it cannot be during the season, or we're going to continue to see this. Bowl season is becoming irrelevant. There's so many bowls going on throughout this week. Couldn't care less because it's not the same team that was out there even 2 weeks ago. We're at this point where teams like Marshall University are dropping out of bowl games because, hey, if a coach leaves a university, 90% of the time they're going to take their guys with them. So those guys are going to leave. And you see Arkansas has 28 guys in the portal. It's all these different teams being affected in different ways. You see the Penn State backup quarterbacks like, hey, I love everything we're doing. I want to compete with this team, but I have to look out for myself. I have to go somewhere because the starting quarterback's coming back next year. Now he announces that he's forgoing the NFL draft. He's going to come back. All of a sudden he's like, hey, my hand's forced. I have to now go somewhere else. Arizona State's head coach, they are in the college football playoff. He made an announcement to his team, which I think is one, awesome by him, but two, sad that he has to do this. He encouraged transfers to look at their value in the transfer portal. He said, do not wait for our season to finish, because if we run this thing, if we go even an extra week or two, that means spots are being filled up in the portal. You're not going to have the opportunity. And he even said, hey, if you're in between enter the transfer portal. He said, you are still in good standing with us. We are not going to punish you for wanting to see what's out there for you. But this is the mess, like you talked about, Brad. It's the Pandora's box that's been opened of, hey, we gave them a little bit. Okay, yeah, guys can start being paid. Okay, the transfer portal, it's no longer you have to sit out a year. If you can go right in. And instead of what I think a lot of people are hoping for is, hey, the athletes are getting the money that they deserve for this name, image, and likeness. And it's turned into, you need $9 to $10 million if you want to even have a good quarterback.
It's becoming redonkulous, man. That's the part. That's what I'm saying about with the whole college football playoff. We'll talk about it more at a different time, but that's what I was saying about this conversation before with the 4 teams. When you did the college football playoff, you're like, all right, which teams kind of deserved, but then the year when Florida State got bounced was the last year. It was, okay, are they better than Alabama? No. But now what you're going to do is, if you are making this more into a pro system, which is what college athletics is becoming, college football, paying players, having general managers at universities, if you take away the value of the regular season, things are going to get even more dicier as you move forward. That's all I'm saying. A 9-3 Bama team, what?
Meanwhile, you got people trying to be neurosurgeons. They can't afford a goddamn peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm not going to get on that soapbox, but it does piss me off.
And it's wild. This shit is bananas, man. BANANAS. Nobody. Everyone.
I did it.
Hey, well, because I was doing other work. I did put a. Can we move on to like something that's just fun?
Yeah, I think we end with fun.
Yeah,
fun, because then we
gotta go, boys.
Got a poll. All right, see you, asshole.
Hey, Rock. Goodbye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, Sheila.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Go back inside.
I put a poll out, best Christmas movie, but I feel like this should be it's too broad for this poll because I don't have 4 choices that go from, and people have been putting the comments in there, which I really appreciate. I put best Christmas movie, Christmas Vacation, Santa Claus franchise, Elf, or comment yours. I feel like I needed to do like a best claymation video or movie, Christmas movie, because A Year Without a Santa Claus is by far the best claymation Christmas movie of all time, in my opinion.
I'd have to honestly.
The Heat Miser.
That's probably what I would go with personally.
Yeah, I mean, you got your classics, Rudolph and
Frosty
and all that, but I mean, The Year Without a Santa Claus is an all-time.
That's a classic. I love that one.
I will say the Rudolph one, just because that was the one that was etched that I remember so much as a kid running around, and I used to be kind of like excited but scared. Yeah, it's a little bit terrifying.
If you go down to Hampton, they have them playing.
Really?
Yeah, I forget where they have like a bunch of houses, and there's one house that has a huge like movie screen on their roof, and they just play those claymation movies.
Oh yeah,
that's phenomenal.
It's so cool.
See, it's a great time. So you know what? Maybe on another thing, any traditions as we wrap this up around the holidays, like each family, like what's a tradition that your family does around the holiday? And, you know, Joe, I'm sorry. We went a little bit later with call. I don't think we have a chance for call-ins today, and I apologize. I know there's a lot of Arkansas facts and would love to wish you happy holidays. Maybe I'll hop on for a quick minute for something for our channel members tomorrow just to say what's up and have a little chat and watch the Orioles make a move on Christmas Eve.
I know.
Watch it happen. But I don't know who wants to start. If you guys have one, like what's a tradition that you always do? And you want to start? Or you want
I can start.
Okay, go ahead.
So I already told you about the Christmas tree one. Ours my family, we had to watch as a family It's a Wonderful Life. That was like our thing. One of my mom's, it might be my mom's favorite movie, but that was our thing. We had to watch It's a Wonderful Life. That was always a tradition.
I love that. Kev, you got a holiday tradition?
Yeah, when we were younger, and my parents still do it today, but my mom loves to decorate the banisters with garland. And so we would have the banisters decorated, and then as a family, she brings out these huge bins of ornaments that she's collected over the years, and we'd all go and hang them up. And that's like the most vivid memory that I have, because it was like what everybody was looking forward to in my house. So every year, we'd look for ornaments to put on the banister the next year, and probably went a little overboard with it, but it was really cool.
That's where his love for finding ornaments and glass fish started.
Yeah,
it started hunting.
It all
for
makes
ornaments.
sense now.
Started hunting for ornaments,
Although
and then he saw the
no-
singular
We're gonna-
glass fish, and he's like, "This is
No
what I'm
glass fish ornaments, surprisingly enough.
We're gonna have a an origins Kevin's origin story at some point. And I think
That's a
everyone
whole show.
everyone we're gonna have a doc like it'll be a series, but each episode is a different about
The Hard Knocks crew is
the origins.
just
right
couple
down the
miles
road.
away. You can bring them in here. We can
Yeah,
have a whole
hey.
production.
What if I told you? Oh, it's his own toy. It's fine.
Yeah, as long as it's his own.
As long as he doesn't get into the ranch and hot sauce, which he got into after the Ravens game.
Oh,
It was,
Oh, you haven't heard this, Kevin?
well, which
Well-
one? You got into both or one?
Yes.
He got
We'll talk about that in a second. Zach, what's your holiday tradition?
I think one of them has got to be every, Christmas Eve. My neighborhood does. It's like caroling, sort of.
Yeah.
So it's very like everyone goes to the lakes in the neighborhood, and there's like a stage, and you honestly the microphones are horrible. You can't
The
hear any
lakes.
of the kids being like singing, but it's something we go to every year. It's a very cold 15 minutes. I'm gonna be honest. But we do it every year because it's tradition. It's one of those things where it's like we've done it for probably like 20-ish years now. So every year no matter how cold it is, we've almost missed it a few times because like we forget every year if it starts at 7 or 8. So like you start seeing people migrate and you're like, okay, it's now. So, I've walked down there, natty light in hand, just
Yeah.
kind of.
I know
Taking
exactly
in
what
the
you're
moment.
talking about.
Yeah.
The lakes. I've spent
Yeah.
time at the lakes. Not during the holidays, though. For a different time. Anyway, my tradition or traditions, things kind of change as things get older. Growing up, always for Christmas Eve, we'd go to see my dad's side of the family in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And we'd always then, when we are together, it's sometimes we don't have that opportunity now, right? Just
Life
life happens. But then you'd always then, as the presents are done, you would get into a wrapping war or snowball fight. So after all the presents are open, we ended up actually getting my aunt and uncle got these actual like snowball plush things, and you
Yep.
just would hammer people.
Yep.
And it was so much fun that it'd be more fun to just like we team up on one person and
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
go after. But also we do that even with the regular wrapping paper. The other thing on actual Christmas Day, Christmas pajamas, till this day, the llama, my mom, Kelly, I'm sure there's gonna have them for this holiday, always Christmas pajamas. And this breakfast spread, which always has this breakfast casserole. That's what we do every single time. I will be wearing this, however, with the game on Christmas Day.
Hell yeah.
I
I want PJs.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had Christmas PJs. I don't really wear PJs, but I would if they were given to me.
Yeah. You're a big, boxer brief or just nothing? Shaved. You might think because of the beard that you're really hairy, but you're not.
No.
So
I sleep naked every night.
I just
Good thing you asked when you came down to the studio,
Yeah,
Zach,
yeah.
to make sure.
Yeah.
Brad, I was kind of joking when I said he
Who
does
knows?
naked yoga in the morning.
Yeah, thank God.
Kind of, but not really.
That was that yeah.
Listen, I'm so upset that the sun has now moved into here because I can't just
walk out there.
all during the weekends. It just didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
just out.
Jesus.
But there's got to be a camera out
No,
there?
not
Brad.
one.
Are you sure?
Positive.
I hope for your
I can't
sake
wait
they
to
don't
get a call.
install one.
Hey, Ryan. One day I'm going to get a call. Hey, Ryan. Hey, you know what? We're happy you guys are here. Just do me a favor.
Yeah, we try
Can
to
Brad
make it, we
keep
try,
it within the confines of the
Hey,
space?
we try to make it feel homey here, but not that.
Yeah.
Our motto is make yourself at home, but not that
at
home.
So I just checked the chat, and Nick told us to check Discord, and oh my goodness,
No, he was ready. He was ready.
This is incredible.
Wow.
The beard over.
Now
the
we got
football.
Yeah, you see the helmet peeking through.
All
That
right,
is-
we got to
that is
do it then.
classic.
We got to do it.
All right, we'll do. Hey, we got
Nick,
10 minutes.
Yeah.
10
Speed
minutes
run,
of calling.
speed run 'em.
Speed
We gotta
rounds.
see it.
That is phenomenal. We have to
Wow.
see it. So, Nick, please. Joe, I know for sure we'll have Joe, we'll have Nick. That is phenomenal. Yeah, okay. Brad, put the link in there. 10 minutes, And then we got a roll ski. Just unfortunately, that's just life. We got to do what we got to do. I blame myself. I didn't cat hurt it enough.
Yes,
but
as soon as I saw Nick, I was like, wow. Have to.
Yep.
um,
It's in the community tab.
perfect. And the other thing, Kevin, Ollie got into the hot sauce, yes, and ranch. He stayed here for the game. And let's just say, you see that power strip? That's not the power strip we used to have.
No.
Over there.
You got it all over the power strip.
Oh, he honestly, if you were to put a dartboard up or like a bullseye,
he just
no, he absolutely exploded.
Oh,
Like literally,
bro, it was so bad.
I haven't seen a direct bullseye hit like that.
Like you just a heat-seeking missile of shit all over that power strip.
And it might have been 2 or 3. It was tough. It was a little bit of a cleanup.
and
And then
hot sauce. Yeah, that'll do it to you.
So we had the Iron Rooster, which shout out the Iron Rooster, incredible. I guess we left one too low, or he grabbed it, went into a bag, and accidentally, because we're like, oh no. And then luckily he's fine. He's having his rice.
Yeah.
His bowel movements are very normal right now. But all of a sudden I'm like, holy shirts and pants, man.
Man, I wonder if he was eating. He's like, man, what is this spicy? Have you seen that video? It's like, this is spicy, like the dog.
Yeah. Well,
maybe,
well, it definitely was that.
Yeah.
He that was
Studio Pup is
Studio Pup. He's chilling now. But Brad was on that couch and I was using the restroom, and Brad, apparently you're like
oh, God, oh, no.
I didn't see it.
It smells like shit. It's like in Austin Powers. You're like, oh my God, that coffee. Oh my God, this coffee smells like shit. And then it is shit, Austin.
You didn't have to look very far, apparently.
Oh, you didn't. But I heard the little bump. I think we have some call-ins. Who we got first? There he is.
There he is.
I can't believe
Rocco
Rocco just absolutely torched you for no reason.
Ducked the smoke.
It's unbelievable, and he left.
I mean, it's okay. He's suffering and grieving from a horrific loss on Saturday.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. And hopefully, I mean, I don't know, but they come to town again, we're gonna whoop that ass again in the playoffs. Send them home.
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on, Joe. Let's
Go
go.
back to Pittsburgh crying with them.
He's a good kid. I still remember he was so nervous, and you were almost outing him as a Steeler fan when he was still reporting here.
That was the funniest saga. He would get so upset.
Yeah.
What did people find?
Well, I understand from a context standpoint, but now Rocco's not holding anything back.
No.
At all.
Yeah,
So it's like, you know what? I don't feel bad for you now. You know what? You get what you deserve. But Joe, you got the floor for a little bit. So we got to I know we're running late, but talk to me. What's on your mind?
First of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you guys. And look forward to having a good show on Thursday after Christmas. We got the Reach House Cave in Petty Jean State Park contains etchings of rocks that are 150 years old that are still there by Americans made 150.
Is 150 old for rocks? Don't we have million-year-old rocks?
I guess not in the grand scheme.
Well,
of
it
things,
depends on
but-
what your beliefs do. If the
But apparently they're in caves down there. I've never been down there.
Yeah, where do rocks come from? Where do rocks come from?
We can send Rocco down there to do some reporting. He might come
that
out.
would be great.
I do think we
Rocks
just
from
one time
Rocco.
need to
Hey,
send
I
it
got an
somewhere.
Arkansas fact for you.
Oh boy, Joe.
The very first Walmart opened in Walmart in 1950, or opened in Arkansas in 1950.
It did, and it's still standing. It's in Rogers.
Very nice.
There you go.
They have remodeled the building, but the Walmart #1 is still Walmart #1 store.
Or
I've been there.
1952. Yeah.
And their headquarters are across the street from there, and it is the largest. Like, I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, they own
They
half.
have their
Arkansas.
own airport. They have their own airport to bring people in
Yep.
to visit.
That's insane.
What?
Crazy.
That's wild.
So Arkansas is just a different place.
Yeah.
For a lot of
The
different
Waltons
reasons.
own half of Arkansas.
And
That
Joe the other half.
And yet Arkansas can't get a quarterback.
That is also correct.
We got Walmart over here. We got Walmart money.
And Tyson chicken money. Johnny Tyson bought.
That's right.
And yet they still can't establish the run. Unreal.
Gosh.
All right, shut up,
Unbelievable.
Mr. Marshall. Shut the hell up.
Damn.
Now we're getting
You're gonna get on. He's playing the bowl game.
Oh hell!
Let him know, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to cut you off. Any other last things before we got to move on?
No, I was trying to get an elf outfit because Nick showed me that, sent me a message, and I was trying to get an elf outfit to do it, and it didn't happen. We were going to try to go Santa and elf, but
that would have been electric. I got my elf costume somewhere in the deep abyss of all my other crap that I need to go through. But Joe, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Appreciate you as always, man. And we'll talk. I was gonna say we'll see you before the new year, but enjoy your holiday, all right?
And just stay tuned to Instagram for more facts every day.
Yeah, check out Baltimore Joe 82. The more you know, Arkansas Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate you, Joe. Oh, goodness
That's
gracious.
my transfer portal, brother. You know, Marshall and Arkansas, the top 2 number of transfers in the portal. We have like 32. They have 28.
Well, have those guys play a game of football together. They can play their own bowl game.
They could make a team.
That's true. All right, I think we got Santa.
Santa's here.
There he is.
Wow.
Football Santa.
Incredible.
Merry Clinchmas, guys.
Festivus Claus. That's
Merry
phenomenal.
Clinchmas.
Merry Christmas, Nick.
Nick,
That's awesome.
Have you had this for a while?
This has been planned for about a week.
Oh, I love it.
Let's go.
I was going to do it Saturday, but I got delayed at the family meal. So here I am, Festivus Claus, celebrating Clinchmas, and we're ready to go.
So did you have this before a week ago, or you just got this within the
This
last
was planned a week ago.
But I'm saying, like, did you already have the hat? Did you have to go and get the beard?
Yep. Everything already ready.
And so just so I know, you have the hat.
The sweater's electric, too.
And the beard, and your football helmet is also still present. Voila.
We're still here.
We're
I
still
do have
grounded.
a good and bad list, though.
Oh, you do? Oh,
I'm pleased to say
this is good and bad list.
that everybody in studio today is a good kid.
Let's go. Let's go.
I love where this is going.
Yes. Come on.
However, Festivus Claus has 3 people on the bad kid list.
Oh, 3.
Wow.
3. Number 1, the fraud, Rocco DeSangro.
Let's go.
Number 2, the state trooper who reduced Rocco's ticket.
Oh my God. Holy shit. That's so awesome.
And number 3, Brandon Stevens when he doesn't turn his head.
Oh, oh my God.
Only when his head doesn't turn around.
Yeah.
Did you have one more?
When he turns his head, he's somewhat okay. He's palatable.
Holy hell. Festivus coming at us with.
As always.
How can, so we know how, like, if Brandon Stevens, you're saying, if, turns around and makes plays, hey, that's off the list. The cop, we know how he can fix that. Just, make Rocco pay. How does Rocco get off the bad list?
Never.
He doesn't.
Like, there's nothing he can do.
It's a terrible towel.
He is behind enemy lines. He must suffer.
But, like, even the Grinch went from being
had a little heart to big heart.
Well, the Grinch got morals. Rocco doesn't have morals.
See, exactly. The Grinch hated people, not Christmas. We all just hate Rocco.
That's just so true.
It's just facts. I love
it. Man.
It's
also, can we appreciate the rapping job in the background there, Nick? Look at that.
Yeah.
This was also pre-planned for the show.
Is it really, or did you just sack?
These are my family's gifts. They're getting delivered Christmas Day. Usually they would be there by now.
Oh, damn.
Man. So saving just for the show?
Nick, you are
this is prep.
Freaking unbelievable, man.
He's taking over Joe's spot as number one fan.
Hey, you know,
this is Rocco's spot for all I care.
This is how I do it, man. Like, you know, when we look at what we've kind of built here, right? You know, and seeing Joe on from the start, like, and Brad, we've talked about this. First time we had a stream, there was 4 people in it, and Joe was one of them.
Yep.
And to now be at this point where we have Joe calling each time, and that's been phenomenal. And now we have our regulars that join the show and watch. And then Nick, I think the coolest thing is you're across the pond, but you love some of the activities, and it doesn't. You like most of us. We're finding out. Yeah. At least 4 of us in here, and not one. But I think that's the beauty of our community, right? Like, this is a part of the holidays where it's a great reflection. Like, I'm looking at this, Brad. It's just, it's funny as hell, Nick. You make us smile, but the cool thing is like how we found you guys, or you guys have found us. You know, it's really cool. It's beyond cool. This is not, if I could say where the hell or who would be involved in our lives a year later when we started this, I wouldn't think that Festivus Claus would be one of those being involved in it. So I appreciate you. Arkansas Joe, I knew that Joe was going to be involved. I was going to have to deal with his ass no matter what. But in all seriousness, you guys make this happen, man. You guys make this happen. So we appreciate you, Nick. Any other final words before we let you deliver your presents that you kept for us? That's just unbelievable.
I mean, those presents are going back in the sack quite soon. Don't take that out of context, or do whatever. But
big sack guy.
We have to beat the Texans on Wednesday, Christmas Day. And yes, I am sacking the family off, and I will be watching NFL football on Wednesday.
Hell yeah.
Pause.
I don't know how many more times I can say sack. I've tried. This is probably my limit.
Nick, it's all right. You and Kevin are in the are big sack guys today.
Yeah, no, I could. Yeah, wow. Glad I didn't.
Huge sack guys.
In and out of the
sack. I mean, Kyle Van Noy's an even bigger sack guy, but
correct. Yeah. That's correct.
He is.
1.5 sacks. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, hopefully then this Christmas we get a present where the Chiefs knock off the Steelers and Baltimore can regain the AFC North lead and not look back as they head towards the postseason. That would be the best thing, Festivus. That is what we'd love to see. So, hey, I appreciate you, Nick. Merry Christmas. I'm sure we'll find a way to talk to you soon. But keep being you, man. And thank goodness that you told us. I would have been beside myself if we didn't have Festivus explain who is on his bad list too. We got to find a way now. I want Festivus to come back in February.
Yeah.
We got to find it.
I'm sure Festivus will be out of season, but he'll wake up and come.
What about the Easter Bunny? Like, what's the next holiday?
I do have bunny ears.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Someone can be Cupid. Kevin's going to be a leprechaun.
Yeah.
I am not getting naked for this show.
That's Brad's job.
All right, Nick. Appreciate you, man. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you and the fam, and go Ravens. All right.
Take it easy, guys. Have a great Christmas.
Yeah,
appreciate you, Nick.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, it really is a cool thing.
That was
awesome.
That was incredible.
I'm so glad, Nick, you told us to check
Yes,
Discord because
for Christ's sake, thank you. I would have felt terrible. He went through all that, and then we didn't have one.
Well, and that's why, part of it, like I said, we try to stay on tune with it. Then that's some technical difficulties. We want to try to make time. But again, like, this show happens because of people like
you guys,
Nick and Joe, and our regulars. Laura, I don't know where Mama is. She's always on here as well.
She was here.
but the rest of our community, and we appreciate it. We're going to get to putting more of the channel members content out, meaning like trying to do some streams on the side, check in on what's happening with you guys. And when things happen in the moment, want to share that with you all. But you guys, the support of our channel has helped us grow this. So thank you guys so much. And if you want to be a channel member, click that join button. It's right next to subscribe. You should click subscribe if you are not. We have a lot planned in the future, but I think that's it. Yep. I think that was it. Guys, appreciate all your time in here. For Rocco elsewhere, wherever did Rocco just high and by all this?
He didn't want Joe Smoke. He didn't want Joe Smoke.
No doubt about it.
I saw my opportunity to talk.
You might have to. You might have to wear that at Christmas in July.
Oh no! Someone already said Orioles play Rockies on July 25th, so I'll be there in this.
There you go.
Woo!
Very nice.
All righty. Well, hey, let's cue that music, Brad. As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Above all, though, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Enjoy all the festivities on Christmas Day. Ollie? Well, my dog is going for the treats. Have a day, have a night, and we will see you guys soon. Hey.